After 2 years, they are upgraded to SRF, where they get 42,000 plus HRA and contingency around 20,000. So we have a additional exemplary performance reward of 1 lakh rupees per annum only for the JRF, who this is one time, and this is for the 10% of the JRF who qualify and are the toppers in the list. Next slide, please. Application is through online process, and this exam is already been done in, I think, January 10th. So top 60% can pursue their PhD from any UGC recognized institute, and rest 40% they have to mandatorily required to enroll in any of the 27. This is the second category, in any of the 27 ICMR institutes or centers. Next slide, please. Fifth is short-term fellowship abroad. This is for the training from 15 days to 3 months. And the eligibility is the regular, the person should be a regular employee or Indian faculty or researchers having a postgraduate degree or biomedical research degree. At least they have 3 years of experience. The age should be below 57 years and should not avail any similar fellowship from any government agency within the last 3 years. We provide US $3,000 per month, which includes the airfare, accommodation, other expenses. Ticket booking should be, as you know, through the GUI authorized travel grants people. We also provide 75,000 for visa, survey fees, taxi charges, and for conveyance. A maximum of 20,000 is also given for overseas medical claim insurance. Next slide, please. This is long-term fellowship abroad. Eligibility is the person should be a regular faculty having a medical or non-medical recognized degrees. At least 3 years of teaching or research experience. They should be below 45 years. Financial support is given US $3,000. Again, the same airfare, tickets should be booked through GUI authorized people. Reimbursement on submission of the original receipt and bills. 75,000 is provided for visa and 20,000 for overseas and medical claim insurance. Next slide, please. This is short-term fellowship at Indian institutes. This is for 1 to 3 months, and the restriction is that you can apply only in India, and it should not be a parent institute. It should be some other institute. The person should be a regular faculty, at least 3 years of experience, should have a recognized medical or non-medical degree. Candidates should not avail any similar fellowship of the duration of 1 month or above. Up to 45 years of age is the restriction. And we provide 40,000 rupees per month provided for a period of stay in the host institute. Training in the same institute, as I told, or the same station is not considered. Otherwise, your application will be rejected. One-time contingency grant of rupees 30,000 maximum is given to meet the expenses for local conveyance and attending meetings. Next slide, please. This is long-term fellowship at Indian institutes. This is for 6 to 12 months. Again, the eligibility and all these things are similar, which I explained in the above programs, and the financial support is also the same. So I'm not going into the detail. Next slide, please. The ninth, this is the Women Scientist Program. This is for the women who have a career break, and it should not be between 1 year to 5 years. Should not be more than the 5 years. And it is divided into 2 categories, category A and category B. Category A is for those people who have a PG degrees and PhD degrees already, and category B is for those who are interested in doing to enroll themselves for the PhD. The age limit should be 30 to 45 years. Category A is again divided into 2 categories for medicos and non-medicos. For medicos, they get in 90,000 rupees per month, and for the non-medical, they get 67,000 plus HRA for the 3 years. Research grant up to 10 lakhs per year is also given for 5 years or 3 years up to the time of the research. The time limit they give in their proposal. Category B is again divided into 2, medico and non-medicos. It is for those students who are interested in doing PhD. So they can enroll themselves for doing the PhD, and they get 65,000 per month for the medical and 48,000 plus HRA per month for the non-medicals. This is for the 5 years or till the completion of the PhD, whichever is earlier. And research grant is the same, 10 lakhs per year for the fieldwork, consumable items, attending conference, workshop is given. Next slide, please. This is non-resident NRIs. The eligibility condition is that the person should be NRI and Indian origin and non-resident Indian who is working overseas, and he should have a medical and PG degrees, must have a 3 years of research experience after obtaining the postgraduate and PhD degree, and the age limit should be below 45 years. And in this case, we provide the consolidated amount of rupees 1.2 lakhs per month for the 3 years, and research grant is also provided rupees 20 lakhs per year, which is divided into 3 components: 65% maximum for recurring or consumable items, 10% is for maximum on travel and contingency, 35% maximum on equipments. Next slide, please. This is international travel grant, which you can apply online. This is on the rolling basis. This is for the researchers, scientists, and PG students. This is for the dissemination of their research work abroad in the conferences, seminars, symposium, workshop. And the eligibility is that they should be a biomedical scientist, research or doctoral student. And the senior scientist, this is divided into 2 categories, below 35 years and above 35 years. As I explained previously also, because we encourage the young students, so we give the airfare, visa fee, and the registration amount for those who are below 35 years, but who are for above 35 years, and there is no limit of maximum age. They receive airfare and visa charges, but do not receive any registration charges. Next slide, please. This is again a international travel grant. This is a travel grant in which the researchers get around 1.5 lakh. This is the maximum capping. If you are spending more than 1.5 lakhs, then you will have to bear it from your own pocket. So the whatever the proposal in the whatever the programs I explained should go through the reviewers, and only those people get the grant and fellowships who are ever selected by the reviewers. Next slide, please. This is a workshop funding grant program, and the institute can organize the workshop in the biomedical health research, and they can the only condition it that they should invite some young researchers or the middle-aged researchers or the aged researchers for taking the training. There should be a training part. There should not be just like that somebody is giving lectures only.
Not to be
So
discussed.
training should be there. Areas of workshop which is to be conducted is given on the left-hand side. The target group is government or private organization, research institution, medical or dental colleges, or NGOs. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. This is causing disturbance to others. Please. Financial support we give here is maximum capping is rupees 10 lakhs per workshop. Actual amount is calculated after the once you submit the bills of the workshop. Next slide, please.
BRDL IPG MER Kolkata, please mute yourself. Please.
This is support to institution and scientific professional bodies associations. Here we provide the financial support to institutions for developing the infrastructures. Here we give 25 lakhs to the institute to upgrade its infrastructural facilities, but this infrastructural facility should be utilized for the training of the people, not for the routine upgradation of the lab. Other than this, we give rupees 10 lakhs per year for 5 years to meet the expenses on equipments and consumables which you spend for the trainings. And obviously the proposal goes through the reviewers. Next slide, please. This is startup grant for induction into biomedical and health research. This is just like a seeding grant for the new people who have done their PhD within the 5 years. Eligibility is that the person should be a regular faculty or scientist, any recognized Indian university, colleges, or research institute. Only those who have completed PhD within the 5 years and maximum age 45 years. Top ranking research institution, if they are from the institute which comes under the NERF ranking, that person will get a preference. We provide here 16 lakhs per year up to 40 lakhs in the 5 or 4 years. Approval by the technical evaluation committee, and approval is necessary. Next slide, please. So thank you. Now I am going to start a new presentation. This is for STS first and second year students, how they can structure their proposal. So it is just, you can take it as a tips and tricks in what way the proposal should be written. So the boy or the girl can impress the reviewers. So kindly open the slide. This on the left hand side, left hand. Yeah. So it will be good for the short-term studentship fellows who are medical and dental first year and second year students. Next slide, please. Yes. So first of all, when you are uh, going to start a proposal, you will have to first find out what is the research problem on which you are going to work. You will have to identify a research question or the research problem, whether it is in India or globally, which in which you can contribute. So once you identify the problem or the research question, on that basis, you start to make a proposal and draft a proposal, which is start with the title. Please just bear with us for 1 minute. Hello. नहीं अभी नहीं अभी. There was an important call, so sorry for the disturbance. So I was discussing about how to structure the STS proposal, research proposal. This is for the students and for the guides also. Sometimes we receive such a research proposal in which we feel that there is a minimum or least contribution of the guide. So once you have to identify the research problem or the research question on which you have to work, suppose if you are going to work on a diabetes and you are working in ophthalmology, so it is very difficult for you also and for us also, for the reviewers, to justify that a person who is getting a training in ophthalmology, how he can treat or working or can try to find out the solution of the diabetes. It doesn't mean that you are restricted or your mental thoughts are restricted, but for some justification, there is some necessity that if you are working in some department, that your proposal and your matter should be aligned with the department or the expertise or the training which you are taking in that department. So just please take care of that. Once you start writing the proposal, then it starts with the title. Then I suggest that it should be around 25 words. It is not a restriction, but once you see that if some people start like a storytelling in the form of a title, that it will be a little bit absurd and just like look unusual. It may affect the reviewer thoughts also. So reviewer wants that it should be a very neat, clean, and very precise and concise things which he's going to see, and he hopes that the things should be in a proper way, well crafted and well drafted also. So it is not a restriction that it should be a 25 words. Neither it is a restriction from the DHR that the maximum limit of the title is 25 words. But obviously this is usual. Once you see the title, it should be a self-explanatory. जैसे होता है कि once we see the face and when we interact with the person, we can know about the nature of the person. The title is like the face of your proposal. With the help of this title, you must be able to, or the reviewer must be able to know what is the written and what the person wants to do. So take care of it, because some person just start telling a story in the form of the titles. So keep it very precise, concise, and short as maximum as possible. And also mention the variables and on which study you are going to focus. As I explained, if you are working on diabetes, then it should be clear that you are working on diabetes or ophthalmology or gynecology or gastroenterology, whatever it is. So it is just an example. If you are giving a title, effect of sugar intake on dental caries in children, it gives you a clear-cut idea. But if you're writing a study on teeth, it is too short. So the title should not be too short, should not be too long, but it should be a self-explanatory. And within the, if it is within the maximum limit of 20 to 25 words, that is best. Next slide, please. So after title, you write introduction. So what is the purpose of writing introduction? In introduction, you explain the history of that disease. If suppose you are going to write a proposal on the diabetes, you just write how the diabetes start, how it happens, how the person suffers, what are the causes, what is the work has already been done, what are the gaps in the previous studies, and give a background in very simple terms and in very simplest way. Do not try to impress the reviewers with very hi-fi terms and terminology and technical terms, because it does not work. So you should should explain the problem, and plus the importance of the work which you are going to do should be clearly mentioned in the last of the introduction. What is the purpose of doing, or what may be the objectives or the aim in one line. It should not be very vague, or please do not copy from anywhere else. Just use your own thoughts, thinking, and your own creativity for writing. Obviously, the introduction, most of the majority of the part, you will find it from the literature survey and from all these things, but use your own words, please. Next slide, please. So introduction also explains what are the research gaps and how you are going to fill it up. So either you can write an introduction part, or you may write a separate rational part. What is the cause of choosing this study? So in rational, you can provide whatever the gaps and how you are going, whatever the cause of choosing this study, and because you are choosing any study because there was some gap, and how you are going to fill it up. So it may be explained in the introduction part, or it may be explained separately in the rational part. So whatever the missing in current knowledge, and always you always try to give the current knowledge in the introduction part, not very much history or very old things. The correct is just like I have given example, no study in Indian adolescent. It is giving you a idea, but incorrect one is many studies exist, but it is not showing where the gap is existing. In the correct one, it is showing in Indian adolescent population, the gap is existing. Next slide, please. This is rational and hypothesis. Rational, as I told you, reason should be very clear why you are choosing this topic, and hypothesis is what should be the expected outcome. So you are assuming that point A or point B may be the expected outcome, but it may be possible that the expected outcome may not be according to you. So this is also a part of the research. No need to worry about it. Research goes on, whatever the results you get in between while doing the investigations or lab experiments. So if the results are not coming according to the expected outcomes, it is also not to worry. This is also a part of research. This is also a part of dissemination of the knowledge, that people know that this is the method which is not giving this type of result. So that is also a research part. So just an example, higher sugar intake increases the caries risk. And if you are giving the incorrect, you are not giving any hypothesis, or you do not give any idea what may be the expected outcome. So reviewer feels just like landed in a air, that the person doesn't know whatever the result he's going to get after his experiment or after finishing his lab investigations. Next slide, please. After that, you write objectives. So your aim should be very clear what you are going to do, and under the objectives, under the aim, you can write your specific objectives. It should be clearly mentioned that aim should be 1 or 2 lines, And within that category, you can write specific objectives like objective 1, objective 2, objective 3. And in my suggestion, if you write the research plan or the study plan with every objective or every specific objective, that is easier for the reviewers to understand. Like objective 1 has some study plan, so you write your study plan for study objective just below the objective 1. For objective 2, you may have different tools to use, different lab investigation. You write your research and study design for the specific objective 2 just below it. For objective 3, you write that specific study design for objective 3. So that will be easier for the reviewers, that this person is the objective is this one, and the study design for different objectives and respectively is for this objective. So always you should compare something or evaluate something or assess something in your objectives. For example, if you write in your objective to assess prevalence of caries, and in incorrect one, if you write to study dental health, it becomes too vague and it doesn't provide any particular information what you have to assess and where, because health problems may be many other than the caries also. It may be a gums problem, pyorrhea also, and different things. Next slide, please. Methodology is the main and important and the core, or you can say the heart of the your study proposal. Your study design very well crafted and well drafted. You should write whatever the study you are going, whether it is a clinical trials, cross-sectional or longitudinal study, whatever it may be. Mention clearly the population size, the sample size, in what population you are going to do, in what region you are going to do. Just for example, a cross-sectional study on 100 students, it gives you a clarity rather than you don't give anything, what type of study you are going to do and with what type of population you are going to do and what type of samples, whether it is a tissue, whether it is a blood, or from where you are going to get the samples and how many samples, no sample size calculation. It gives a very bad impression on the reviewers. So take care of it. Next slide, please. So your data collection should be very much clear from where you are going to collect the data, from hospitals, from some region of the populations, or from tertiary hospitals, or whatever be the design of your study. It should be clearly mentioned. The tools and procedures, whatever you are going to do, is suppose you are you have to see the expression of some biomarkers. So clearly write whatever the tools and the techniques you are going to use, like flow cytometer you are going to use immunohistochemistry, immunocytochemistry, whatever it may be. It should be clearly written and should be clearly explained. So your methodology should have a just like that, it should have a suppose if you have a questionnaire for the survey or clinical exam, it should be clear that you are going to provide it with your proposal. And if you write it, data will be collected, that is too vague and no details are given, how it will be collected, how the person is going to work on that collected samples or the data. Next slide, please. Your before starting the works, you must have a ethics approval from your institutes and consent, without which you cannot start or anything for the work. So it is very much necessary according to ethical procedure. So explain why the basic.
अच्छा.
So in your methodology, always explain the basic analysis plan. And just like, for example, SSP used for analysis, suppose for the statistical analysis, you are going to use this software. You clearly mention that you are going to this software, that software, whatever the basic things you are going to use for this proposal methodology. Next slide, please. So next one is implication. So what you are going to get from this study, how you are, what will be the implication of your study, what will be the significant outcome. So there should be a learning part and whatever the scientific contribution which is going to give that result. that should be very much clear how your study is going to impact the society, the people, the global health, or the challenges or the gaps which you are going to fill with your study. It should be very much clear in your implications. For example, if you write helps in prevention of strategies, that gives a little bit idea, but if you don't explain it or don't mention it, that will become vague for the implications part. Next slide, please. References should be in Vancouver style. You can use recent, and you should use the recent references for your studies. And the proper number and format should be there. It should be uniform throughout the references part or the glossary part. And do not give the random website. Sometimes it happens when you give the websites, when the person or the reviewer clicks it, it does not open or error shows somewhere. So there should be a very well drafted formatting, and style of the references should be uniform throughout this part. Next slide, please. So thank you. I just give a little basic idea for the students who are in the first year and the second year of their medical colleges. A great and comprehensive part of the grant writing will be covered by Dr. Jinu, who is the program officer in HRD division, little while after the lecture of Dr. Aman Sharma. So you will have a comprehensive idea. But for the S2S students, because it was going to be a very late and we lost our time due to some technical faults, so I'm not able to explain in that much depth for the STS students. But I hope that in future, when we will organize like some webinar or physical meeting, I will be able to explain in depth. But as a superficial overview, I have already given to the students. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Aman Sharma, please.
Good afternoon, all participants. And in my session, I will discuss about the basic statistical methods required for writing the effective grant. Is my slide visible and moving?
Yes, sir, it's moving.
Thank you for the confirmation. So, first of all, we will understand why the statistical methods are required for the grant writing. So there are certain points on which we can say yes, the statistical methods are very important. First of all, we will discuss the literature review. When you write your proposal for the grant, definitely you will have to go for the literature review for understanding your research problem, what is the research gap, what is known, and what will you provide. So when you read some research paper, so it is very much required to understand the methodology of that particular research paper, what was the result of that particular paper, and what was the finding and conclusion of the research paper. So if you have the idea of the fundamental statistical principle, you will be able to understand the meaning of the statistics reported in the literature that you are reviewing. The next thing is choosing the variables for the own study. We will discuss about in detail about the level of measurement, what is the idea of independent versus dependent variables, covariates versus the confounder variables. So when you are designing your, it is very much required to understand the types of variable you are including in your study, and also during the analysis part, when you write your statistical analysis plan, understanding of these concepts are very important. Otherwise, what happens without understanding of these basic concepts, you write the something, it is very likely that these things may be wrong.
Please mute yourself. Somebody is talking. It is creating an interference for others to listen. Please mute yourself.
The next importance is the sample size calculation. This is a very important statistical part during the conceptualization of any study. How we choose the appropriate number of participants for the study. So for this also the understanding of the statistical methods are very much required. Next is when we write the analysis plan for the our study. So for that also the understanding of the statistical part is very much required. And next thing is the analysis of data. When we complete the study, we will have the data in our hand. And now the next step, we have to analyze the data. So to know the outcome of the study, we have to analyze the data. So for the analysis part also, statistics is very much required, and also for the data interpretation. For example, we do a study and we found that the value of the odds ratio is 2.5. The value of the risk ratio is, say for example, 0.7, or the value of risk ratio is, say for example, 3.2. So what will be the conclusion from these numbers? If the odds ratio is more than 1, what its mean? If the risk ratio is less than 1, what its mean? So data interpretation part also can be very easily handled by the concept of the statistics. If we see the entire statistics area, so basically there are two major statistical concepts are there. First is the descriptive statistics, and second one is the inferential statistics. In probably all of you have read at least some research papers, and if you read the research papers, you probably read table number 1. So table number 1 in the maximum research paper is the study characteristics of the study participant. So probably you will see the mean age of the study participant, how this much percentage is of male, this much percentage of female, this much percentage of urban resident or rural resident, this much percentage is the from the lower socioeconomic class or upper socioeconomic class. So these terms are defined here as the descriptive statistic, in which you just simply describe your study variables, and also you give the measure of dispersion, like probably you see in the research papers, standard deviation is reported along with the mean, or interquartile range is reported along with the median. And also, if we talk about the effective presentation of the data, we have to go on the graphical representation of the data also, in which we prepare some pie chart or some histogram, line diagram, or many other advanced diagrams as well. So these concepts are under the descriptive statistics, in which we just describe the our variables. And second, in some very complex division of discipline of statistics is the inferential statistics. We very well understand that we cannot observe each and every individual of our interest. Say for example, if our objective is to find the impact of the lowering the salt intake on the hypertension. So we can do the study at hospital level, we can do the study at community level, at country level, even we can do the study at multi-sensory level. But it is very obvious that we cannot enroll each and every hypertensive patient in our study. So what we do, definitely we have to take some of the hypertensive patient as per our requirement, either from the hospital setting or from the community setting, enroll them into the study and give the intervention, advice, or any drug. And then after a certain period of time, we will see whether the intervention is working or not working. So this branch of the statistics help us about the to conclude the findings from such a small sample, which can be generalized for the entire population. So these are the main two areas of the statistics. We will discuss these two one by one in detail. So the next very important concept is the levels of measurement or the scales of measurements. Any variable of interest in our study can be of any of the four level or scale of the measurement. The four level of measurement are nominal, ordinal, ratio, and the inter. Why we are discussing it? Because handling of the each kind of the variable at different level of measurement is a different way. And if we are not having the proper understanding of the level of measurement, it is very likely that we can do some error. So we can understand the four level of measurement very quickly. So now the first level of measurement is the nominal. When we talk about the nominal, as the name suggested, when we classify the variables on the basis of their names only, like gender of any participant, like male or the female, blood group like O positive, O negative, A positive or A negative, eye color, hair color. So in which no any mathematical operations are required, only the names are sufficient to classify the data. Second highest level of measurement is ordinal level of measurement, in which ranking is there, like in real life example is Likert scale, like if you are doing some survey. So you are giving some question to the study participant, and they have to respond on the scale of Likert scale, like highly satisfied, dissatisfied, or neutral. It's the three point Likert scale, and 4.4, 5 point, 10 point Likert scale will also be there. And another example is maybe the New York Heart Association classification, which is termed as NYHA first, second, third, and fourth, in which we classify the patient into the four categories. NYHA first is the normal one, and NYHA fourth is the very sick patients. So such kind of the classification is termed as the ordinal ranking. Third kind of the level of measurement is the interval level of measurement. Interval and ratio are the very similar scale of measurement, but the only difference is in the interval scale of measurement there is no true zero, but in the ratio scale of measurement is the true zero value is there. For example, if I am saying that the income of a particular participant is the zero, so it will be the ratio scale of measurement, because if I am saying that the income is zero, basically mean that he or she has no income at all. But at the other hand, if I am saying that the temperature of any particular place is 0 degrees Celsius, so the meaning is that the value of the temperature of that place for that particular time point is 0, but the meaning is not that there is lack of temperature. So why we are discussing it? When there is a choice between choosing any variable which can be measured on nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio, if there is choice, it is always advisable to choose the variable which is measured at highest level of measurement, like the ratio level of measurement is the highest and gold standard. If the choice is there, always advisable to choose ratio or interval scale of measurement. But if there is, in some cases, we will have no choice. So it is okay. For example, if we have to classify the patient between the disease or not disease, obviously there is no choice. We have to go with the nominal scale. If we are dealing with the social sciences research and we have to collect the opinion, so in that case we have to go with the ordinal scale of measurement. If we are measuring we have to measure the systolic and diastolic blood pressure of the study participant and HbA1c level, triglyceride level. So definitely we have to go with the interval scale level of measurement. So when there is no choice, okay, you can go ahead with the suitable. But if there are choice, so it is always advisable to go with the highest level of measurement. The another concept is the two types of variables in the study: independent variables and the dependent variables. So this is a very simple concept. I think all of us are aware with this concept. So independent variables are the variables which can supposed to be have an impact upon the dependent variables. Like for example, if we are giving the glucose to the runners, and we see how much kilometer they are running. So the volume of the glucose we are giving is the independent variable, and how much kilometer they are running for after taking that particular quantity of glucose is the dependent variable. So when you write the proposal, clearly identify which will be your independent variable and which will be your dependent variable. Because if you don't have understanding of such kind of the variables, you may probably have the error in writing your study proposals. So very clearly, it will be very thoughtful decision which variable will be included in the study, and which will be the independent variable and which will be dependent variable. And another three kind of variables is also there in any study. And another three kind of variables is the covariates. Number two is the confounder, and number three is the effect modifiers. So basically, in the real world, we can very easily understand that any dependent variable is not the only product of a single independent variable. There are so many variables which can have an impact upon the dependent variable. Say for example, if we talk about the weight of any individual, like, or the BMI of any individual, so definitely if we have to, so in that case, if we have to study the relationship between the calorie intake and the BMI or the weight, so the calorie intake will be the independent variable, and the BMI or the weight will be the dependent variable. But there are so many other variables as well. Like for example, whether the participant or patient is the vegetarian on the vegetarian diet or the non-vegetarian diet, may be a covariate also. So apart from the independent variable, there are so many variables can be in any study which can be termed as the covariates. Another kind of the variable is the confounders variables. Confounder variables are very interesting variable actually, and they are supposed to have an impact upon the dependent variable as well as on the independent variable at the same time. It is a very interesting example if you see in the image. If we have to impact the assessment of the beach drowning, here the beach drowning is our dependent variable, and the sales of ice cream is our independent variable. So it is supposed that if the people are going on the sea beach, they are consuming the ice cream. So ice cream is higher the sale of the ice cream, higher the visit in the beach side, and also it may likely to increase the episodes of the beach drowning. But here the temperature is a confounder, because temperature is at the same time will also impact on the sales of the ice cream and the beach drowning, because that as the temperature high, low, people are more prone to go the beach side and also will consume the high amount of the ice cream. It's a very common real life example. And another third kind of the variables are the effect modifiers. So effect modifiers are the variables that can actually change the direction of the impact of independent variable on the dependent variable. Say for example, if we are studying the study exercise, study of exercise and the muscle gain, how much time an individual exercising and how much muscle gain he or she is gaining. So definitely here the gender will be a effect modifier. In that case, males are more prone to give more muscle as compared to the females. So effect modifiers are also can play a very important role. So the message of this particular discussion is to think about the all kind of variables when you write your research proposals very thoughtfully, and also incorporate the measures how you will handle of such kind of variable, and out of these kind of variable, which variable you will record and you will have in your analysis. Another part is to choose the study design very carefully. As we know, broadly speaking, there are two kind of the study designs, or there are two kind of studies: observational studies and the experimental studies. Observational studies are simple studies in which we observe what is actually happens, and there is no intervention role in the observational studies. There are so much kind of the observational studies, but we are talking about here only three main kind of the observational studies. Cohort study number 1, number 2 is the case control, and number 3 is the cross-sectional study, in which all among these three cross-sectional studies are very simple to perform and also very popular. So basically, when we do the cross-sectional study, when we have to measure the exposure and outcome at a single point time, or in simple words, we can say when we have to see at a single time point what is going on. So in that case, we will prefer the cross-sectional studies, and when also, and on the other hand, if we have the data on the exposure and the outcome at the same time, and we have to retrospectively see which of the participants were deceased or which were of the not deceased. In that case, we will choose the case control studies, and it is very popular study design in case of the rare disease. And cohort studies are very difficult to perform. Basically, in the cohort studies, the sample size is usually very high, and we have to follow the study cohort for very long time. And the basic idea behind to do the cohort study at the beginning of the study, all of the participants are the non-exposed, or at a particular time point, some of the study participants will be exposed, some will be non-exposed, and after some time, some will develop the disease and some will not develop the disease. Then in this way, we have to establish the association between the exposure and the outcome. So this study design is the cohort study design. Another kind of study design is termed as the experimental studies. In the experimental studies, again, there are two very popular designs are there: randomized controlled trials and the quasi-experimental studies. So as the name suggests, they are the experimental studies, or we can also term as the interventional studies, in which we not only observe the natural things what is going to happen, but we also intervene the situation. We also provide some intervention. Intervention may be a drug intervention, may be a behavioral intervention, or anything which is supposed to have an impact upon the disease under investigation can be termed as the intervention. So basically, as we know, the randomized control trial are the gold standard for provide the evidence for any particular intervention. And in some cases, when the randomization or random allocation is not feasible or not ethical or not practical, in that case, we can go with the quasi-experimental designs as well. Now, I will cover two major things when you write the study protocol. When you write the protocol and submit for the funding, there are so many factors which can influence the chance of getting funded or not. For example, what is the research gap? What is the basically, all of you know the final criteria for the good research question. So if we talk about the final criteria, the study should be feasible, innovative idea should be there, and some new information, at least some kind of new information should be provided, some useful new information should be provided by the study, and the study should not be like me to research. Okay, I have to do the research. Okay, I will also do this thing. However, lots of studies lots of data is already published, lots of studies also available, but I have to do research, okay, I will do the research. So such kind of the approach should not be there. But I am just talking about the 2 steps to increase the chances of get funding for the research proposal. First one will be the sample size calculation, and second one will be the how will you write the statistical analysis plan for your study. So there are 9 simple steps for the sample size calculation. If we broadly classify the study, so there are 2 kind of studies: exploratory studies and the hypothesis confirmatory studies. When we take the exploratory studies, when no data is available and we are touching a very new topic in which almost there is no data is available, no study is published, such kind of studies are termed as the exploratory studies. And because there is no prior inputs are available for performing a formal sample size calculation, so in that case, it is not required for the exploratory study to go for a formal sample size calculation. However, there are so many other principles as applied for the exploratory studies, but a rule of thumb says that sample size may be around 30 for the exploratory studies, or it may be determined as per the feasibility point of view. But on the other hand, if some already published data is there, already published studies are there, so in that case, we have to go for the proper sample size calculation approach. The first thing we have to choose is the appropriate study design. As per our objective, as per our research question, we have to choose the appropriate study design that we have discussed prior, whether it will be a experimental study design or the observational study design. And among these 2 approaches, what will be the appropriate study design? Second one is the choose the appropriate study outcomes. Outcomes are very important in any research proposals, and choose the outcome very wisely. We have discussed the idea of the 4 scale of measurement: nominal, ordinal, ratio, and interval. So use the approach for choosing the appropriate study outcome. For example, if we have to study the impact of a particular diet on the weight, so outcome may be a BMI, outcome may be a BMI classification like obese, overweight, obese, and another approach may be the BMI or the weight reduction. So if it is possible, then always go with the weight reduction or BMI approach, because sometimes very small incremental benefits are very important, and if we use the approach with the classification variables, so some small incremental benefits may not be observed. So we have to choose our study outcome very cleverly and very actively, so that small incremental benefits can also be observed. But again, feasibility part is also there. Third step is to find a more suitable reference study for your study for the sample size calculation. So many times if we read the paragraphs or sample size calculation, so the researcher usually just write, okay, the prevalence of this condition is the like 27%. Now the sample size is this much. So it is not the good idea. Actually, from where this 27% is coming, it is always advisable to write with reference. So the first step for this step is to find the most suitable reference study. Go to the PubMed or the available database and have some idea how to review the literature, not just Google it. Actually, Google is okay, but Google is not the good idea. Go with the PubMed, at least for PubMed search. Keyword search is there, and there are so many options for the to search the study in the PubMed, and find the most suitable study which is the best match for your study. Take the inputs from that particular study and then use it. Then extract the relevant number from the study. For example, our primary outcome for the study is the reduction in the systolic blood pressure, or the reduction in the diastolic blood pressure, systolic and diastolic blood pressure combined. to extract the values of the systolic and diastolic blood pressure from the relevant study, and based on these values, we can go for the sample size calculation. Another is the choose an available sample size calculator. There are some licensed software are available like Stata, SPSS, or some online free programs is also there. Free softwares are also there like R, and even it can be done manually. But in the manual calculation, there are some more mathematical ability is required. Next is the fix the level of significance, which is usually termed as the p-value or probability of type 1 error or the alpha value. So this is conventional. It is a very conventional choice to keep it as 5%. So this is the it is always required to choose the value of alpha or p-value. And as per the state design, there are some other inputs may also be required. Say, for example, if you are performing a sample size calculation for a randomized trial, so in that case, the allocation ratio is required. For example, 1:1:1 allocation ratio, 2:1 allocation ratio. Another example, if you are doing a case control study, so cases versus control ratio, what will be the case and control ratio? Whether it will be 1:1 or 2:1 or 1:2. All other inputs are also required, but these have to be customized as per the study design. All these inputs will be inserted into the online software on the formula. Then we can get the required sample size, and also we have to adjust the sample size for the expected dropout rate or expected loss to follow. So these are the 9 steps for the sample size calculation. It is an example for the sample size calculation. It is an example for calculation of sample size in the prevalence study. If we see in the PICO or PEO style framing our research question, so our population is Indian adults age more than or equal to 18 years. Exposure or condition is the cardiovascular diseases, and outcome is the prevalence. So our structured research question is, in that cases, what is the prevalence of cardiovascular diseases among the adult population in India? And study design is cross-sectional study design. Because we are only assessing the prevalence. We are not intervening anyways. So we do a extensive literature search through PubMed, and I found the most suitable research paper. The title of this paper is Prevalence of CVD among Indian adult population, which is a systematic review and a meta-analysis. If we talk about the level of evidence, we know very well systematic review and meta-analysis are providing the highest quality evidence. If we talk about the secondary database study, so I prefer systematic review and meta-analysis study, and the finding of this systematic review is this. I extract the finding. The pooled prevalence of CVD was 11%. And when we do a subgroup analysis, when they do a subgroup analysis, the prevalence rate was 12% among males and 14% among females. So this study was published in 27 March of 2025. So I take here from here 3 values. 11% is the pooled prevalence. Another value is 12% for the male and 14% for the females. This is an open platform, open API software which is freely available. It's an online program. Anyone can access it. So I have to give some inputs like if you see hypothesized frequency in the second line, you can see hypothesized frequency of outcome factor in the population. So I prefer 14% instead of 11 or 12, because if we take 14%, I will receive a higher sample size so that I can ensure that my study will not be a underpower study. Or because it's an observational study, so it is very much it is not any risk to the participant. We have to take some some small, if we require some very small amount of blood samples, and no much risk is there, so we can increase the sample size up to an extent. So I take it 14% with at 5% level of significance. So this calculator gives us a sample size of 185 if we considering the prevalence of 14% and alpha value is 5%. So expected non-response rate is 30%. Always remember to adjust the sample size for the non-response rate in the surveys and the loss to follow-up rate for the interventional studies. So there is no any hard and fast rule how much expected non-response rate should be there, but it can also be determined from the published literature. You can see the literature, how much non-response rate can be expected in our condition. So I take 30%. So it is a very simple basic formula for adjustment of the sample size for the non-response rate. The adjusted sample size is original sample size divided by 1 minus non-response rate. So 185 is our original sample size. 1 minus 30% means if we convert into decimal, it will be 0.30, and the final sample size is 264.28, and finally we have to recruit 265 participants for our study when the study objective is to find the prevalence of the cardiovascular disease. And also remember, the sample size always calculated based upon the primary outcome. So this is the complete paragraph of this study when we write the sample size details. So I declare here, firstly, the primary outcome of the study is to estimate the prevalence of cardiovascular diseases among the Indian adults. I declare my primary outcome. Second, I declare my literature review. A review of the literature identify a study conducted by M. Chanawar et al. In 2025, which reported an overall CVD prevalence of 11%, with gender-specific prevalence of 12% among males and 14% among females. Next is for the sample size estimation, the higher reported prevalence of 14% was considered to ensure adequate representation, assuming a 95% confidence level or 5% level of significance. A design effect of 1 and using the Open API software that I have already used, the minimum required sample size was estimated to be 185 participants. And to account for an anticipated non-response rate of 30%, the sample size was inflated accordingly, resulting in a final sample size of 265 participants. So this is a complete paragraph, gives the entire information. What was your primary outcome, what study I am referring, what formula or software I am using, and what input value I am using along with the alpha value, and also the value of the expected non-response rate. It is another example. Calculation of sample size for outcome measured at interval or ratio scale. Single group pre-post study design. It is an example of an intervention study in which we observe the variables at the baseline, give some intervention, and after completion of the intervention, we again measure the same variables and then see what is the impact of the intervention upon the study outcome. So our research question in that case is, what is the effect of a 12-week physical exercise program on lipid profile among the Indian adults? If we break it down into pico style, so population is the Indian adults, intervention is 12-week physical exercise program, comparison is the pre-post comparison, pre-exercise versus post-exercise measurements, and outcome here is the changes in the lipid parameters, LDL, SDL, total glyceride, and the total cholesterol. So what will be our research hypothesis in that case? Hypothesis will be a 12-week physical exercise program produces a statistically significant change in the lipid profile parameters that are the total cholesterol, LDL, SDL, TG among the Indian adults when comparing the pre-exercise and post-exercise measurements. Say single arm pre-post study. So for this again I do a extensive literature survey, literature review from the PubMed, and I found a suitable study. The study title is Changes in the Adult Lipid Profile Following a 12-week Physical Exercise Program at Wellness Center, Primary Healthcare Corporation, Qatar, a retrospective cohort study with pre and post comparison. So it is a big study, but I extract the information of my use. So the result part, from the result part, I extract that among 739 participants, mean age is 48.75 years, 74% female. Significant reduction were observed in total cholesterol. So from the baseline value of cholesterol is 4.99, and the post follow value of the cholesterol is the 4.93. And another parameter is total TG, which is the value of the triglyceride at baseline is 1.26, and at the follow up the value is the 1.17. So this is the inputs of my requirement. For this, I use a MedCal, which is also free online sample size calculator program. So in that case, we have to use a sample size for the paired sample t-test, and type 1 error is 0.05, which is 5%. Power of the study I am taking as 20. Power is 20, actually 80%. Type 2 error beta is 0.20. Subsequently, the power is 80%. Mean difference I calculate from here. 4.99 minus 4.92, that is 0.06, and standard deviation of differences. Actually, it is some complex statistical thing, but for the convenience, I take it as 0.95. Actually, there are two options here: 0.95 and 0.77 for the standard deviation, but I take it higher side. So the resulting sample size is 1970. And if I calculate sample size based on the triglyceride, so in that case the mean difference is 1.26 to 1.17. That is 0.09. Alpha is same 0.5%. Power is same 80%. Mean difference in that case is 0.09, and the standard deviation is the 0.66. And the resulting sample size is 425. So initial calculation for the sample size, it is 1970 if we taking as the total cholesterol, and 425 if we taking the triglyceride. So how we write the sample size paragraph for this particular study? So the primary outcome of the study is to estimate the effect of a 12-week physical exercise program program on the lipid profile of Indian adults. A review of the literature identified a study conducted by Alfiat et al. In May 2025, which reported total cholesterol from baseline to follow-up. The numbers I have already given, and the triglyceride from discuss to discuss from baseline to follow-up. For the sample size estimation, change in triglyceride was considered. I declare here I am considering the triglyceride. Sample size was calculated with MedCal online program by taking level of significance as 5%, mean difference 0.09, that is 1.26 minus 1.17, and the standard deviation as 0.66. The sample size of 425 is calculated, and sample size is further adjusted for a potential dropout rate of the 20%, and finally 532 participants will be enrolled for the study. That is how we write the sample size calculation details in our research proposal. It's contain the all required information, and it can, anyone at anywhere can verify it. Many times researcher give the details of sample size calculation, but it is not verifiable. So it is always advisable to give the sample size detail in such a way that anyone from anywhere can recalculate it and recheck it if he or she required. If reviewer required, they can also check it. The next part and last part of my presentation is to how to write the statistical analysis plan for our study. So analysis plan basically comprises two very important things. First one is how we report the variables in our study. Different variables की reporting कैसे करना है. And second thing is the which appropriate statistical test we are applying for our study. So these two things simultaneously will make our data analysis plan, or the we can say it statistical analysis plan. So as I discussed in very initial part of my presentation, we have to identify the at which level any variable is measuring. So if, for example, our variable of interest is gender, classification, residential status, blood group, so it is the nominal measured on nominal scale. And when the variable is measured on nominal scale, so we can represent it by number of counts with the respective percentages. If the variable is represented on ordinal scale of measurement, like Likert scale, classification means for example, strongly agree or agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. NYHA classification, so these are the ordinal classification. It also can be represented in terms of number or count with percentage, but with the help of more median, etc. also. And along with the measure of center tendency, we have to give some measure of dispersion also. Like for example, with the median, we have to report the interquartile range. If the variable is measured on interval or ratio scale of measurement, like age, income, random blood sugars, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, RBC count, WBC count, temperature factors, all interval and ratio scale of measurement variable can be represented as mean, median, or mode. There are so many measures of tendency is there, but I am discussing about the very widely used measures of standard tendency. So in that case, mean, median, mode, along with the standard deviation with mean, and if we are reporting the median, we have to report the interquartile range. So this is the way of reporting the variables in our study. Accordingly, we can choose which kind of the reporting we are giving in our study. Another and some difficult part is actually to choose a right statistical test for the hypothesis testing. It is actually required some more study and more expertise, but I will try my best to explain it in a concise manner. So which kind of test we apply, it basically depends upon the four things, or fundamentally three things. First one is outcome variable is measured on which scale of measurement we have discussed already, interval or ratio, ordinal or categorical, or how many groups are there, whether this is a one group study, when one group single arm study, or whether it's a two group study or more than two group study. Third is the comparison, what we are comparing. And the next thing is if the assumption for the parametric tests are met on that. Basically, if we classify the entire test of significance, so there are two kinds of tests of significance, parametric and the non-parametric. Basically, it's a very purely statistical discussion, but I am discussing it because it's very important. So if some assumptions are met, so we use the parametric test, otherwise we use the non-parametric test. So we take this one by one. If we have to compare the one group only, compare one group and compare with the value only, and our outcome is the continuous variable, like if we have to measure it at interval or ratio scale, so in that case one sample t-test will be used if the variable is normally distributed. Otherwise, we will use this option, time rank test. And if the two groups which are independent to each other, observation in one group will not impact on the observation on the another group. So we have to compare between two groups. We will use independent t-test if the variables are normally distributed or assumptions are made. Otherwise, we will use it man-Whitney test. If three or more groups are there, if the two groups are there, dependent or paired, that we have discussed already in our example, compare within the same group, pre versus post analysis. So we will use pair t-test, or otherwise we will use Wilcoxon and rank test. If 3 or more groups are there independent, so we will use one-way ANOVA, or otherwise we will use critical values test. If 3 or more groups are there, but the groups are there, but the responses are dependent or repeated, so in which we will use repeated measure ANOVA or the Friedman test. It is all about the continuous variable or interval or ratio scale variable. Now the term is for the ordinal scale of measurement. If 2 groups are there, in the ordinal scale, it is very important to note that in the ordinal scale of measurement, it is always advised that only non-parametric test should be used. So that is why the name of the test is same in both places. To compare between 2 groups, Mann-Whitney U-test can be used. Compare within the same group, pre versus post Wilcoxon sign rank test. Compare between 3 or more groups, Pushpill values test, and compare within the same group at more than equal to 3 time points, we should use Friedman test. And if we talk about the categorical or nominal categorical data, which is measured at nominal scale of measurement, and we have to compare 2 groups. So it is a very popular test, which is the chi-square test or the Fisher exact test may be used. And if the 3 or more groups are there, we should use the chi-square test. So this is how we can choose the appropriate statistical test as per the nature of the variable under investigation. Now how we can write the effective data analysis plan or the statistical analysis plan. So basically there should be 5 components in the data analysis plan. First component is how we reporting our variables. Second one is which statistical test should be used. Third is what should be the additional information and level of significance and the software. So now we will read it one by one. So reporting of variables, data were entered in the Excel sheet and cross-checked with the CRF case report form by the study investigators. And the continuous variables were reported as mean with standard deviation or the median IQR as appropriate. Categorical variables were represented as numbers and percentages, and prevalence was reported with the 95% confidence interval. To say how we report our study variables. Second is what statistical tests we have used. So for example, it's for example only. A pair t-test was used to assess the intervention's impact. The chi-square test was used to assess the association between the categorical variables. And additional information like if we are doing some subgroup analysis, so like it is example, subgroup analysis was done based on the gender and age, male and female, and age is 18 to 50 years and more than 50 years. And as per the study design again, if we are, for example, if we have do a RCT, so whether we are doing a per protocol analysis, intention to treat analysis, or modify intention to treat analysis, any additional information apart from reporting and the statistical test use should be given in this section. Label of significance is conventionally set as 5%, but I write it, the label of significance was set as 5% for each hypothesis testing. And finally, I write software use, Stata version 17 was used for the statistical analysis. So these are the 5 components. But if we combine all these 5 components, we will have our analysis plan ka jo paragraph we will have. Data were entered in Excel sheet. All these things we combine and we will find our paragraph of the statistical analysis. Now we are about to end my presentation. So these are some advices. So basically, there are researchers from the different backgrounds, and probably it is not possible that they have read all these complex statistical things, but it is better to abreast with the statistical concepts. Always consult with the statistician from beginning of the study when the conceptualization phase is there, and discuss the proposal with the statistician in detail. Many times we feel that the researcher comes to statistician and tell us, okay, this is the prevalence and now calculate my sample size. Okay, it is okay, but it is not very good practice. Discuss the complete proposal with the statistician. and keep the most relevant study for the sample size calculation as we have discussed. And thoughtful selection of the study variables should be there, and define your all study variables, whether these are the independent variables or dependent variables, covariates and confounder. Define all study variables in advance. It should be nice. It should not be. It is not a good practice. Okay, in the I have recruited 50% of my study participants, and I feel okay. This variable to रह गया. So now we should starting the collecting the data. It is not actually good practice. Declare all these in the research proposal in advance. So when we evaluate the research proposal for the methodological point of view or the a statistical point of view, so we will see how clear the researcher is, whether the selection of variable is appropriate or not, or the only superficially the researcher is writing, okay, this is the our outcome variable and I will collect the data on the outcome variables. It is actually not the condition. There are so many independent variables in each and every study, and all the variables should be declared in advance. And collect the data on these variables from the beginning of the study. It is a good practice always. And the information of no use should be avoided. It is actually waste of our resources, and also it is not good for the study participants as well. And also it is very important to think about the statistical, so ethical considerations, all the ethical considerations like approval of the your organization ethics committee is always should be there. This from our side.
शेयर स्क्रीन कर दो, शेयर स्क्रीन करो ना पूरा तुम, इसको तो पहले स्लाइड शो हटाओ, 50 बंद कर दो इनकी। सारी बंद कर दो तो क्या, सारी पीपीटी बंद ही कर दो ना, मेरे ही तो बच्चे हैं। स्लाइड इसको नीचे कर दो, बीच बीच में आएगा, बिल्कुल नीचे कर दो और नीचे नहीं जा रहा है, हाइड नहीं, हाइड है, हो गया। So good evening everyone. So I hope you all had a good time in understanding what were the sessions before this regarding the STS writing of the proposal, and then followed by the sample size estimation and calculation given by Dr. Aman and Dr. Saurabh. And they have beautifully explained how you need, what all things you need to keep in mind while writing a grant or a proposal and submitting it to any funding agency. So now this session will basically is a walkthrough through the essentials of scientific writing, and it will help you all to gain an idea about how a proposal or your final annual report or even the final report is to be written, and what all things you should keep in mind when you are writing something for getting a grant or getting any fellowship support. So I'll just give you all tips and tricks also in between. And majorly, I just want to tell that whatever is going to be presented here today regarding this scientific writing has probably been taken from the NIE scientific writing course. So ICMR National Institute of Epidemiology has this online self-paced course which says about scientific writing. It is a much detailed version of what will be told to you today here. So if anyone who is totally into clinical research and writing grants and writing fellowships, proposals and applying for such fellowships and support programs. So please do this scientific writing course by ICMR NIE Chennai. It will be very helpful for all of you because you learn how to submit and write a proposal, which is very essential when the reviewers and the funding agency review it. So with this, I'll just move forward. Next slide, please. Is the slide visible to everyone? Can anyone just confirm? And am I audible? They confirm they are able to see. Can anyone write in the chats if the slides are visible to you? नीचे जाओ ना 153 न्यू दिख रहा है ना. Okay, thank you so much. So with this, I'll just begin. So this is the agenda of this session. So I think many of you might not be aware of what argument matrix is, but my next slides will be telling you about what is an argument matrix. That is not to be supposed to be submitted to any funding agency while writing a proposal or your report, but it is for your own help. Then comes the introduction and background, then the methodology, the results, discussion, then how do you manage your references, the review of literature from where you are searching, and then the title, abstract, and other things. So the entire talk will be focused around this agenda. So now moving forward, I'll just let you know what this first argument matrix is. Next, please. So basically, this is something which is for your own help. It will help you a lot to reframe, revise, and then finalize your proposal or report before submitting to any funding agency for applying to any funding agency. It basically provides you a framework of what you want to do and gives a structure to your proposal, and the ideas that you have, you can logically think of them in a sequential manner and then use this framework to prepare the outline of your manuscript or your proposal, which you're going to submit to any funding agency. So that is what all argument matrix like this, the name as it goes, it's an argument that you are argumenting on your own, that whether this idea is okay to go as a hypothesis or an objective, or the second idea is much better. So it helps you to just revise, reframe again and again before finally submitting your proposal. This is for own your benefit. And I think that everyone should adapt this, utilizing, preparing of this argument matrix for yourself before you even start writing it on a final paper. Just do this rough work of writing an argument matrix. So what is an argument matrix? Next slide, please. So it basically is all about the ideas. So like you say that you have 2 or 3 ideas in your mind while you are doing research or you are into your clinical duties, and you find out that what if this is high, then this is the outcome going to come. So you have 2-3 ideas in mind, but you don't know how to just reframe them or make them or compile them as a proposal or as a application submitting for the grant support. So basically you write down your ideas, and for each idea, then you start focusing on your introduction, methods, results, what will be the limitation, the conclusions, the expected outcomes. So you point by point, you just go, and then when you write like this, you will see that they will all fall into correlation, because when we see some of the proposals, there are 3 objectives written or there is 3 research questions written, but none of them are correlated. One research question focuses on development and identification of biomarkers, then suddenly the second objective comes, which is another something variable which is not even correlated to that biomarker. So all the 3 ideas, objectives, or research questions that you are having in mind, they should be correlated, not that something, one of the idea is coming out of the blue, which is not even correlated in any context to your previous first and second ideas. So that is why this template becomes very useful. And in the ICMR NIE scientific writing course, this template has been given the emphasis that every one of you should adapt a habit of first doing this homework before even thinking of an idea and submitting for a research proposal. So just for your own good, try to do this. And I think when you start doing this, you will you will understand how it is and how easy writing a proposal then becomes, because this will give you an entire summary of what you are going to write in detail. You have your introduction in mind, that for first objective, this is the thing that I have to write. For second, I have to write this. Then for first objective, this will be my methodology. For first objective, this will be my limitation and what will be the mitigation plan and then the expected outcome. So you have the entire summary in one place with you, which is for you, not for the funding agencies. We don't need this. This is just for your help. So try to do this. And I think that writing a proposal or writing any research grant proposal will be very useful, because personally, I have also, after coming to know that something like this can be done, I have done this, and it becomes very simple to then write your, compile your entire research proposal. So please try to follow this. Next, please. Now coming to the main part, which is your proposal that we ask, because in majority of the proposals and the programs that we are offering, we have a basic structure in which we ask for an introduction, your methods, your results, and discussion. And this is popularly also known as the IMRAD structure and the Bradford-Hills question. So these are this IMRD, these are many of you must be knowing. These are called as Bradford-Hills question. And other than that, there are some key appendices like the abstract, the tables of figures, which is related to your work, and the references, they also come along with it. So the entire scientific writing will be focused on this IMRAD structure. And many of the sections like the introduction, methods, results, and discussion have been discussed by Dr. Saurabh and Dr. Aman. But still, this will also give you an overview and insight that how one should be writing a proposal for funding to any funding agencies. Next, please. Click once more. Bus wait now. So coming to first, how you write. So basically, you should use algorithms when you summarize your information. Like you create a picture, like I told you, the argument matrix. So you should also create algorithms. Like one of the example is like this, that what will be your study units? Either they are individuals, either they are groups, their selection criteria, eligibility, then what the participants, what will be do, and the non-participants, the detailed, Dr. Aman has already told how to do in different types of study design, how do you randomize or you non-randomize. So you just create an algorithm for each of the section for your research proposal and then go forward. Next, please. Click once more. Then you just describe what are the main trends in your tables and figures in the results. Like in this example, you can see that there is a bakery shop shown here in the picture. And you can see that they have displayed some of the cake and pastries in the front. The machines are at the side, the cookies are at the back, and the breads are at the back shelf. So that is how you need to just, this is an example to tell you, illustrate that how, what all things should be main focus in your research proposal and what can go as an annexure or as an supplementary material or any other thing. So your main primary outcome should be always focused. Your research question, your hypothesis should be based on your primary outcome and your secondary outcomes. Then your tertiary and other outcomes, they can be in context to both the primary and secondary, and they can be just explained further. So you have to just describe your proposal that what is the most important, because the primary outcome is one of the most important thing when you are writing any research proposal. Based on your primary outcome is what you, it should be measurable, and that is the thing which you decide how you want to move forward and what will be your expected outcome and deliverables. So you have to just focus your study around that, and all the other things which are related to the primary outcome in correlation, that can come at a other stage and not described in so much detail. Next, please. And then comes the discussion part. So when you are discussing, just always please keep it very simple and keep it in a point-wise manner. Don't just write paragraphs and paragraphs describing your results. So you had your primary objective. So take a point A and describe your objective 1, what you achieved and how are you going to discuss that. Then take your objective 2 as point B and then discuss what results you have achieved for the objective 2 and then write. And in this same discussion, you will have to even write the research limitations for each of these 3 points. So suppose you have only 2 objectives, you discuss the results along with it and with proper recent evidence review of literature. And then you write that what research limitations you faced and were there any mitigation plans that you also included to overcome those limitations, and then write the conclusions and recommendations. So this is just an algorithm that you need to keep in mind when you just proceed in writing your abstract or your first draft of your research proposal. Next, please. So now we'll come to the introduction, that why did you start? It all starts with why do you want to do this research? So we'll start with the introduction. Next slide, please. So it should be basically focused on 4 points. First, you describe the background, that what is actually the context, what is known nationally and what is known internationally, globally, and why this element is more important, that you want to address this. Now, whenever there is an issue or whenever there is a problem or any health crisis, there is always something there is lacking. So you need to also describe the gap in the existing knowledge, that this is the background of the study, which is known in India and which is known internationally. This is the existing gap which exists in this research. And then you move forward with and all this, as Dr. Saurabh told, that the review of literature should always be very recent. Please, for today, when you are writing a research proposal, don't cite a paper of 1950s or 1960s. After 1950s, 60s, 70s, much of the research has been done. If there is no cited article, then we understand. But we have seen while reviewing these papers that there are recent articles, but still the PIs have cited something which is 10 and 15 years and 20 years back. So in that 20 years and 15 years, much of the research has already advanced, and you have somehow missed those review of literature while writing your background rationale and the existing gap. So you have to always focus on what is the recent review of literature. If there is no recent review of literature, then you can go back to 5-10 years. But please, there is always scope, and always new existing knowledge is being added in PubMed and the other peer-reviewed sources. So please do a thorough review of literature. And Dr. Aman had also told in the slides that there are various sources. Please do not go only for Google. We do not recommend that you should just type something in Google and what Google tells you or AI tells you that you are quoting in your proposal. Please use PubMed as the source, and there are other peer-reviewed sources also. You can use books, you can use reference articles, you can use news articles also, but they should be valid and a link should be given. So this is how you start with your background, your rationale, and the existing gap. Then the regional perspective on the issue is also very important, because in India also you are from different regions. Now you want to do a study which is issue which is very prevalent in South India. So you have to, after writing that what is the perspective of that issue in India, you have to also write the regional perspective of that issue. So if you are doing this study from South India and your title also says that so and so exploratory studies in South Indian population, then you have to write the regional perspective of the issue. You cannot ignore that. So just keep in mind that what is nationally, what is globally known, the existing gap, and then the regional perspective all should come in your background and rationale. Then comes the local presentation of the issue. And after that comes the research question, hypothesis, and your study design. Basically, we have seen in most of the proposals, after the background and rationale, there is no research question and hypothesis. They immediately go to the study design part and the introduction is finished. If your introduction does not have a research question and a hypothesis in correlation to it, your proposal is very likely not to get through the review. The research question and the hypothesis is the most fundamental and the important part of any research proposal. So please just make sure that you have a very well-defined research question and a hypothesis from the research question. The PICO format already Dr. Aman has told, so I'll not go into the detail of it. But yes, please just focus that you do not miss the research question and hypothesis from your introduction, because majority of proposals that we get, these two things are missing totally. Either there is only research question written, or there is only a hypothesis, or both of them are missing. Never, in very few proposals we have seen that they address the both. So it's very important. Please keep these things in mind when writing an introduction. Next, please. So coming to the research question and hypothesis. Now, when you are writing the research question must be there should be a primary research question in broad. We have seen in proposals that people are writing 5 research questions and 8 research questions and 10 research questions. Your research questions cannot be so much. You are focused on something which is specific, very specific, outcome is measurable, and you have to write the research question centered to that only. So please make sure that you write a primary research question. It can go to the secondary one, but please do not write more than 2 or 3 research questions. It does not make any sense. Many of the research questions are redundant. They are not required. The reviewers then say that the 4th and 5th and the onwards research questions are not at all required. It is a very over ambitious study. So please write only what is relevant and specific to your topic. Do not just for writing sake, you are writing 5, 6 and 7, 8 research questions. And it is also says that the research question must satisfy the finer criteria. I understand that as most of you are from the medical colleges, so you must be aware of this finer criteria, which is feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. If your research question is addressing this finer criteria, your proposal is very likely to go through. If it is sound and it is as per the national goals and the health research mandate, it will go, because first you see the feasibility. Is it feasible to carry out this study? Is it interesting enough? It will generate some proof of concept or evidence of literature. Is it novel enough? Was it done by somebody else? Has somebody else done it? Or even if it is done internationally, was it done in India? Was it done in my region? Is it ethical? The most important point is the ethical. Is it ethical to do this type of research? And relevance. If it is not relevance in today's context, then what is the point? Now, polio has already been said we eradicate. Now, if you're doing something on polio, which is not relevant in today's scenario, why will your study go through the review? So it is very important to address this finer criteria when you write a research question. Please focus on that, and you make sure that your research question, whatever research question, like the example Dr. Aman had given, is your research question addressing all these 5 words: feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. If it is that, then you have a very good research question. If you are not that so much expert, some modifications by the review committee will be communicated to you. But if it clearly addresses this finer criteria, your research question will go through. Now, based on your research question only comes the hypothesis. Now, there are 2 types of research, which was also told by Dr. Aman, like either it is hypothesis driven or it is an exploratory. So if it is an hypothesis driven, then your hypothesis should be written according to it. If it is an exploratory, that means you are going to generate a hypothesis. You cannot write a hypothesis as such. Exploratory question is for generating a hypothesis. That research will generate a hypothesis. You, as of now, you don't have any hypothesis. For any other study other than exploratory, you already have a hypothesis. You say that using this milligram of so and this will enhance the particular disease. So you have a hypothesis in mind. You know that this much dosage of this drug is going to enhance the clinical of that particular patient. But in exploratory, your research is going to generate a hypothesis. So in that case, it is a different way of writing the hypothesis altogether. So for example, one of the example which I've written, like this study aims to discover novel biomarkers. It can be biomarkers, it can be biological mechanisms, it can be risk factors, it can be molecular pathways, because these are all discovery research studies in which you are discovering something, some biomarker, some molecule, some pathways. You are just exploring associated with so and so disease or so and so outcome in so and so population or a system, with the intent to generate a testable hypothesis for future confirmatory studies. So your study is going to generate a hypothesis. Now, if someone wants to take it further, they will use this hypothesis from your study, from your exploratory discovery study, in further large-scale multicentric studies to validate these findings. So there are 2 types of hypothesis written. So it is hypothesis-driven research or it is an exploratory-driven research. So your writing your hypothesis should be based on these 2. Next, please. Now coming to the methodology. Now you have completed your background, you have completed your rationale, you have completed the gaps, you have completed your research questions. Now coming to the methodology, that what did you do? So you started with first, why did you start? What was the main aim of just starting this research proposal? You have explained everything, that I want to do this because this is not known in India, this is not known in my region, this is the existing gap, this is the question which I have, and I hypothesize that this drug dosage will significantly improve the disease outcome. You know, something you are measuring, the outcome is always should be measurable. So you did that. Now coming, what did you do to achieve what you have stated? Why did you start? So next, please. So your methods should basically be focusing on these 4 subheadings, which is your participants, your design, your materials, and your procedures. Now, I have seen in methodology that apart from this, there are many other things which you write in your methodology, which is not required at all. Even Dr. Aman and Dr. Saurabh had told that your methodology should be very crisp. Like, what did you do? We just want to know what did you do and what all methodology, how did you do it? We don't want any other information regarding this. So it should be focused on these 4 major headings. You should always describe about your participants, the study settings, the study design, the sampling strategy and the size, the study procedures that you will take to achieve each and objective of yours. Any operational definitions or standards thing, that also you need to mention there. Then your data management, plan, collection, analysis, how are you going to do that? And then the ethical thing will also come in this methodology part, that what procedures do you involve for human participant protection? So this is to be focused on this only. Next, please. So I'll just give you an example of one such study. You can see for study settings, this is under the methodology. They have just written a crisp paragraph. So what all they have focused? For the first, geographical. So geographical, it comes that it is conducted across 11 hospitals in Tanzania and Mozambique. So they have covered that part, that what will be the geographical settings for this particular study. Now, when we say, especially for STS and PG thesis proposal and all the other programs of DHR, we say that do not reveal identifying information in your proposal. This is by what we meant. Now, in this thing, do you know that which hospital is doing this in Tanzania and Mozambique? No, they have just written that it will be conducted across 11 hospitals in Tanzania and Mozambique. They have not written that it will be conducted at AIIMS New Delhi, it will be conducted at Safdarjung Hospital, it will be conducted at Maulana Azad. Please don't write it. We don't want to know. It is a blinded review. We know that you are self-equipped. You have a DSI certificate which you are submitting along with the proposal. So we know that you can do clinical research. This is the basic format of writing any methodology and study settings. So just write the geographical distribution, that the study will be conducted in 2 districts of Delhi, study will be conducted in 2 districts of Bihar, or any other sub-district you want to write or further. Please do not write the name of your colleges or your institutions in the methodology part. Then coming to the clinical part, now they have included the study design and everything. You can see that in the first line itself, it is written that this is a multi-center, pragmatic, individualized RCT. They have clearly defined the study design in this. The clinical part has been covered. Now coming to the programmatic part, they have also already told in this also that what they will be testing. So they have told that expert MTB RIF ultra from expectorate sputum, stool, and urine samples will be tested. Then other relevant information about the study settings includes your participants detail. So here they have written like hospitalized adults, 18 years, below 18 years of age. With this comes your inclusion and exclusion criteria. Okay, this is also focused on who are the participants and what will be the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So they have also included that in the methodology. This is the way a methodology should be written. So please read more articles on PubMed and see how are they writing their methodology. They include all these 4 points while writing their methodology, and this is the exact way. We do not need to know any other thing. Everything is included in this methodology, which is written very well. Next, please. Now comes to the study design. Now, already we have seen this is the most important crucial thing, and we have seen that many of you don't write the exact study design. Now, what you see on the left side of the slide, what is written in red and is cross, these are not study designs. And in majority of proposals, we see it is written that it is an analytical cohort study, it is a prospective RCT, it is a randomized control trial, it is RCT cases and controls. Please keep in mind the terminology should be very appropriate. These are not the appropriate study design terminologies. These are not any study designs. There is a study design entire, you can say, topic and course on your research methodology, which focuses on types of study design, like has been told by Dr. Aman also in which he told that what are experimental and observational study design. Those are the only study designs. There is no such analytical cohort study, which many of the papers we see written. So you have to be very specific with your terminology in the study design and the settings. See this there in this example, what I have given here in this, they have created it in this was a cross-sectional study conducted at 3 directly dot center. They have not written the or any other detail that it is a case control like randomized control trial or prospective or retrospective. There, if you only write cross-sectional study design, the reviewers know what type of study it is. We know what is cross-sectional study. So you have to be very specific in writing, because this is the part where most of the proposals are lacking. Please do. That is why I'm telling you again and again to do that scientific writing course by NIE Chennai. It is very helpful. It has a detailed section on study design and everything, types of study design and what is applicable in what. So please do that. You will get a thorough knowledge on how to write your study design when you are writing a proposal. Next, please. Now coming to the sampling strategy. So that has been detailed covered by Dr. Aman. So I'm not going into it. But here also you can see that how clearly and in a crisp manner they have justified based on all assumptions and calculations, and they have given the justification for their assumptions. In many of the research proposals, what we get, there is only a simple formula written. Now, just writing a simple formula that using this statistical formula, the sample size was calculated, that is not the appropriate way to write your sampling strategy. So please follow what Dr. Aman told in the previous session about sample size calculation and how to write your sample size section in the research proposal. That is the appropriate way of doing it. Please do not just write one formula that sample size was calculated using this formula and it was found to be 150. It is based on the prevalence of the study. It is based on assumptions and calculations. You have to justify why this formula was used, why this assumption was used, and why this sample size of 150 is sufficient for you to carry out your hypothesis and research question if you want to achieve it. So please keep that in mind. I'm not going in much detail because that has been told in the previous session. Next, please. Coming to the study procedures also, again, Dr. Aman has covered this, so I am not going further. Next, please. Now coming to the data management, collection and analysis. So when you are submitting a proposal to us, you have to write, you will simply not write one line that data will be collected and will be analyzed using SPSS. No, you have to specifically write all tools and techniques, where you are going to enter the data, how are you going to collect the data, how are you going to validate the data, what type of statistical methods have been used. So you have to write everything when you are writing your data management, collection, analysis section in your proposal. There is only one single line written in every majority of proposals that we get, that data will be collected using SPSS. No, that is not the correct way to write. You should list all what you see on the left side. Please list all tools and techniques. How did you collect also? That is also important. How did you collect? What is an electronic? Was it an hard copy? How did you make the entry? There is for data management and entry and validation, there is a software which is named as REDCap. I think most of you must be aware of REDCap, and it is free of cost. Only the institution approvals are required. So if your institution can take the REDCap, then please take that software. It is very useful and there is an entire tutorial on how to use it. It makes your data collection, entry and validation very useful. Please do not use Excel sheet. Please do not even use any other Word or PowerPoint or anything, you know, that you can lose your data anytime while doing it. It was way back then, but now there are very much data management and entry softwares. One of them is RedCap, which is mostly used by many institutions widely. So if you know it, please, you enter your data, collect your data and validate your data on that RedCap. It makes your research very easy when you want to analyze it. Next slide, please. Then comes the ethics. So the most important thing, if your study is related and involving a human and animal participation, you have to clearly take ethics and other regulatory approvals before you start your research work. You cannot start any research work without taking these ethical approvals. You have to take it, then only you can start. So please plan your study accordingly, that once I am planning, this is my plan and my timeline, I will submit. And by the time my proposal is reviewed by any of the funding agencies, I will also apply for the ethics. So even if you don't have ethics in that point of time, you can tell the funding agency that still the ethics meeting is not done, the ethics is due in the institution, and we'll be taking proper ethics and other regulatory approvals as and required from any regulatory bodies as applicable for your research work, and you will not proceed the research before that. This is one of the most important criteria before starting your research work. So you have to, and there is an appropriate way of writing that also. So examples are given here, like what safety considerations, if any drug and any therapeutic thing is involved, what ethics, if it is a human or animal, then what ethics and what things you will be using, or what approvals have you taken, what declarations or anything any sort of which is related to ethics for your proposal should be clearly mentioned. You cannot write, even for this also, we have seen that in many proposals, it's just written that IEC approvals will be taken. No, you have to write what are the safety considerations considering your research proposal, and what ethics and regulatory approvals you are clearly talking about. The reviewers here, we don't know. You have to clearly specify. You cannot just write that the ethics approval will be taken. We all know that that will be anyhow taken. You cannot proceed for your research work without that. But what is it? What are the safety considerations? What is the mitigation plan if something happens to your participants? How do you are going to compensate them? What is the ethics procedure that you're going to follow? And ICMR already has a set of guidelines, ethics guidelines, which you should follow. Please read that document that is available on the ICMR website and DHR website. Please go through it and understand that what and how you should write the ethics part in your research proposal. Next, please. Now coming to the results. In case when you're submitting the proposal, this will come as your discussion part. But when we ask for the annual reports, or when we ask for the final reports, then results also matter a lot. So now you have completed, why did you start? What did you do? Now what did you find? So whatever did you methods did you use? Now what did you find from those? So that will be focused in the next sections. Next, please. So your results, the components, they will be three things, or they can be any two. It depends on you. How do you write? So there will be text, there will be table, there will be figures. This is what the components of a result part is. So you can even go for either text or tables if there are no figures, considering what type of research you are doing. But if there is all the three, then please add. So these are the three main components that you will also describe your tables, you will also describe your figures, and then these components compile your result part. Next, please. So subheadings, what will be the subheadings for your results section? First is the description of your study population. So demographic details you have taken. There was some study population which was involved, the sample size for which you had calculated. So you have to describe that study population. Any demographics that you have come to know with any variables, association with any variables of the demographics, that comes in the description of your study population also. The epidemiology, both descriptive and analytical, which has been already told by Dr. Aman. So I'll not go too deep into it. And any other additional investigations which was focused for your objectives and your research question will come under this results section. All your findings will be coming here. Next, please. So basically, this is just an example from a study done by Chen et al. So you can see that how they have seen. So here they have listed the objectives, that they were the 4 objectives, that they had to also see the study population demographics. Then they had to find out the knowledge and awareness, how much it was, the rate, and then the multivariate analysis. So this is the results that they have achieved as per their objectives. So for each, you can see they have given a table. There is a table for study population. There is a table for the knowledge awareness. There is also a table for rate of awareness and the multivariate analysis. They don't have any figures. It is okay. It depends. Not all research proposals require figures. If you have only tables also, or you don't have tables also, yours is a totally descriptive type of study, then maybe you will not be having any tables also. But you should include all the objectives in your result subheadings. Now, contrast to this, what the table and the objective they have given, they have decided the subheadings of their result accordingly. So study population demographics, they have told that it is socio-demographic characteristics of the representative, the age, gender, and anything that you see that it the component of the variable is age matched or gender matched. So they have described the socio-demographic. Coming to the knowledge and awareness, the subheading is related to the association of different characteristics of population with TB awareness. So what were the different characteristics with TB awareness among the study population? That was the next heading. The third heading was key knowledge about TB among respondents with different characteristics in the province of China. So here they have just different respondents and different characteristics. They have compared it. So those tables and the subheading come here. And the last is associated factors on the level of awareness of TB among the respondents with different characteristics. So first they told about the different respondents and the different characteristics, and then they are finding that if any other factor was associated with this kind of awareness of TB and the respondents. So these are the 4 subheadings as per the stated objectives in the study. They have designed the subheadings, and under this, they will be describing all their results. This is how you should also do. So you take your objectives, see what tables or figures are coming for each of the objectives, and then you decide the subheading of each of the result part. Next, please. So now also one of the most important thing that in the result sections, there are some statistical terms which have significant meaning. Now significant, if you are writing in a research proposal and that too in your result part, it means not caused by chance. Correlation also has this meaning. Random also has this meaning. Sample in a research proposal, you are referring to a part of a population, your study population. So when you are writing a research proposal, please use proper use of statistical terms. Do not use any of these terms in other context in your proposal. Like random also has any other meaning. It does not only refers to each element has an equal chance of occurring. Random in English also has other meanings. So please do not use random in any other context in your research proposal, because random in research means this, and you have already used in your results and methodology. So you have to be these are some of the 4 only examples I have given. There are many other examples. So please do use proper statistical terms in the results and do not repeat that. Keep it uniform. Do not repeat it in any other context. You have to be uniform throughout your research proposal. Next, please. Now we are coming to the last part, that is the discussion. And this comes in your research proposal also, not only in your annual reports or final reports, but this comes even when you're submitting a proposal, that what does it all mean you want to do and what is the expected outcome and what do you think will be measurable outcome of this particular study. So all that comes in the discussion. Next, please. So what is the importance of discussion actually? It is the meaning of your study results. Please, when you are now, that is why these 2 sections are separate. Most of the professors' proposals we have seen that in the results part only they will write the discussion also. You have to only state that the median age was found to be this. The p-value was only this. You don't describe it over there. You are just writing the results in the results section. What you want to discuss, that why the median age was this, that you will now describe in the discussion section. So whatever 4 headings were there in your results section, Those 4 headings will come again in the discussion section, and now you will discuss each of your result subheading here. That why the median age came to be this, why this was the dosage calculated. So you have to describe it, everything, and description and discussion is always based on also on the recent review of literature. So you have to quote if there were any other studies which found the same results as yours. So it is a same result. If anything deviates, like the studies have reported this, but in your study you found something other, so you have to even write that deviation of results. That though the review of literature states that the result was in their study, the result was this, but in your study, in this same research, you have found something else. So you have to even give the discussion for it, that how come your hypothesis, based on your hypothesis, is this okay? You have to describe it, implications of each finding. That how is good. And obviously you have to keep the hypothesis and rationale in mind, because whatever you hypothesize, now you will have to discuss that whether you achieved that hypothesis or it did not, was it not achieved. So that all will also come in this discussion part. Then the study findings in the existing evidence, which I've already told. The strength, limitations, and the recommendations. These are also a part of discussion itself. So you have to write that what was the particular strength of your research and how will it help other researchers. That was the basic strength, and this study is going to help future research in the country. And whatever the limitations, that also you have to write. Because if someone wants to take it further and do it, and if that person is not aware that some limitations were there while doing this study, then that research might face some obstacles. So it is always better, even if you have limitations, please do write it that these were certain limitations which we were not able to overcome, and these are the limitations of the study which future studies may keep in mind whenever doing large scale or further warranted studies. And then you have to give recommendations in terms of policy and practice if it is applicable. And if it is not for policy and practice, then you have to obviously write, if it's a discovery and descriptive, then you have to write that further large scale studies are warranted and future, and what all things too should be kept in mind. Next, please. So this is the way of some writing your strength limitations also. Like strength should be focused on the novelty and innovation, which you mentioned in your finer criteria in your research question, if you remember. So whatever was the finer criteria, you list them here in the strength if it was achieved. So you list the novelty, innovation, the study population. If that was a strength, your study population and the sample size number was very good enough to achieve what results you have achieved. So you have to mention that. The methodology, if any methodology, tools, and technique you found that gave you 100% safe results, then you should mention that. The sample size I've already told, data quality analysis, all this will come in under your strength. The limitations also, some probable impact or lack on the results, which might happen, which always happens in research. Research does not proceed the way you hypothesize and you think of. There are obstacles when you start actually starting the experiments and do the research. Some obstacles and some lacunas come. So you have to write that if that was a limitation while carrying out your research work. And then the suggestions, which I've already told, that yes, this was not done in our study, we were not able to achieve it, but yes, we suggest that further future studies on a large scale and multicentric are recommended to overcome this limitation. And then comes the conclusion, which is that what is one thing based on your research question and hypothesis that you think that is a take-home message for everyone who is doing a research in that particular field. They should get some take-home message that, okay, now this is the outcome, this has been validated, this has been done. Now further to take it to upscale and take it to field trials and everything, this is what we have to keep in mind. And based on this, this can form as a basis, and then we can do further research or for its implementation or any technology transfer. So, and please draw the conclusion only from your study findings. I have seen, particularly in many of the research proposals which I review, that the study findings are not from your study. You have just given a context of some review of literature. No, that is not the conclusion. You have to draw the conclusion from your own study only, based on the strength, limitation, and the results what you have achieved. In conclusion, you cannot quote the review of literature. It is from your study findings what you're going to conclude finally. And always linked, as I've already told, that every part has to be linked to your objectives and your research question. You cannot deviate from that. That you proposed one objective, but it is totally missing from your discussion part and the conclusion part, from the expected outcome part also. So you have to always link your research proposal to your objectives and research question. Then only it becomes a very good research proposal. Please, can you hide it? And this one thing which is written in many of the studies, that need for more studies is a conclusion. No, that is not a conclusion. It is this one line we see in majority of proposals. So conclusion, what I've told you, one take home message from your discussion and results, only from your study and based on your objectives and research question which you can conclude. Please write these three things and then write your conclusion. Next, please. So now coming to the references. So there, there are three things and there are more other than this, but I have listed here only which is three main, the EndNote, Mendeley and Zotero. So EndNote and Mendeley is usually, they are paid features and they have, this is not a free software, not available for it, but Zotero is one free open source reference management software. So when you are planning your proposal, when you're planning to write your proposal, you are doing some search for review of literature. So at that time only, please copy paste all the citations in one page, and even you can use this Zotero and please upload everything on Zotero. You will be able to manage all your bibliographic data very easily. And even in the scientific writing course by NIE Chennai, there is a demonstration on this Zotero. They have demonstrated a tutorial on how to use Zotero, and it is very easy. So you can use the Zotero for writing if you don't get EndNote or Mendeley. Next, please. So that's, I've already told, use and collecting, organizing, generating the citations and converting your references titles as per the funding agency. What funding agency requires Vancouver style, funding agency requires any other style. So you can use, with the help of these softwares, you can just very quickly organize your references. Next, please. So this is just a screenshot I've given that what is Zotero. So it is available for both Windows and the connector also. So you can just easily download and install. And it is very easy to use. When you install it, you will be able to understand. There is a tutorial even on their web page also. So you will understand how to use it. And you can quickly organize all your references, which you either search them in the Word pages, so many Word files you create of creating your publications and references. Better to download this Zotero and add all your references and review of literature while you are preparing your proposal in this. And it clearly syncs everything very easily when you want to write your references. Next, please. Sources, as already been told, please use PubMed, Google Scholar, ScopeUp, Web of Science, research article, web portals which are known and authentic, newspapers, blogs also you can use, but they should be authentic blogs with some valid website. Please do not simply write anything from Google or AI. Now AI is also coming into picture, and many of you just write something in AI, and whatever AI tells you, just copy paste and write in your proposal. Please do that. AI is something to which only you are guiding. AI will nothing do on their own. They are just collecting the references from whatever the sources are available in the public domain. AI is just giving you that. You have to read it and then modify it, and if you want, and then you can write it. Please do not copy paste from just Google and AI. These are the sources which are some PubMed, Google Scholar, ScopeUp, Web of Science, and the authentic research articles. Please use them only for your referencing and review of literature search. Next, please. So this was all about the major section, which is the IMRAD section, which I told: introduction, methodology, results, discussion, and the outcome. So this is the IMRAD structure which completes. Now, apart from that, many times many funding agencies also ask you for writing an abstract and keywords and other things. So this is the thing which you should keep in mind for title, abstract, and keywords. A good title is the introduction of your work to readers. Like, only by reading your title, a reviewer should come to know what are you going to do. What is your research question? What is your hypothesis? What will be your objectives? Only by reading the title, the reviewer should come to know it. A good title is like that. And it also compels the reader that I should read now the full manuscript. The title itself is so interesting. Now I want to see that how this research is going to be executed or going to be done. So that is how a good title is. And don't think that when you write long titles, it is very good. Writing long titles also is not good. And things you want to avoid while writing a title: use of abbreviations, interrogative titles. Your interrogative thing can come only in the research question, please. Do not write interrogative titles. And all capitals or use of abbreviations. Now there are many abbreviations. Many abbreviations have 2-3 full forms. You don't know, you might be knowing that in your particular research study, this abbreviation is knowing this. But if it is not a standard abbreviation, which everybody knows, then the reviewer will be clueless. Like, what does this SCPA means? So by reading your title itself, now the reviewer is saying, ki, what is this SCPA? I'm not able to understand what this PI wants to evaluate or explore, because the reviewer does not know what is SCPA, but you know the SCPA. So you have written SCPA in your title. So please do not use abbreviations. If there are very standard abbreviations, which is known worldwide, nationally, globally, then you can write, because WHO is a abbreviation which everybody knows is World Health Organization. Okay, so you can even, if you write WHO guidelines, so people and reviewers, everybody will come to know. But if you are writing any other non-standard abbreviation, which is only in your research context or your particular region or institution, then please do not use such abbreviations in a title. Coming to the abstract, this is the part that after the title, many of the reviewers read to get a gist and a summary of what you want to do. So that should be also very, and while writing an abstract, the argument matrix, which I told you in the start, that argument matrix is very useful if you want to write an abstract quickly. Because when you have an argument matrix in place, you know what are your 3 ideas. You know what will you write for introduction, for methods, for discussion, for outcome. You can just compile and that becomes the abstract. So if you want to write a very good abstract, so that even by reading an abstract, the reviewers and the funding agencies know that what is this research all about, then I think that you should go for argument matrix. Please refer to that argument matrix and prepare, do that homework before, and your abstract will automatically come out. You will have to not spend a lot of time in writing an abstract. If you write that, then your whole proposal writing also becomes easy. Now, what you should avoid: vague, unclear, and obvious statements, passive voice, missing data or methods. Please do not write all these in the abstract. Then keywords, where they are very 3 to 10 identifiers which are coming across your research proposal, across your research which are used. Please use only those particular keywords and describe them. What is your study centered about? Do not write any keywords which comes only once in your proposal and you are writing that as a keyword. It should be short phrases for cross-indexing and retrieval of information which is important as per your research study. And if you use MESH, which is the medical subject headings, and arrange activity, that will be very good. So you can even use MESH. I know many of you might be aware of MESH. If you're not, then please go through the MESH and you can use it for writing the keywords for your particular study, because in MESH there is standard keywords which are given, for which you don't know, you don't have to find. MESH will give you that this particular keyword is this for this particular thing, disease. So you obviously you can refer to that. So do not go for your own made keywords. Next, please. Now this completes the entire thing about the IMRAD and even the title abstract. But before just ending the session, I would write like scientific writing, like whether it's a research proposal or your annual reports or final reports, they depend on some Orwell's rule. And if you follow those Orwell's rules also, then your proposal becomes a very, it becomes a very good story book to the reviewer, and the reviewer and the experts feel so good while reading your research proposal, and they recommend that the research proposal should be written like this. So never use a metaphor, simile, or a figure of speech. Never use a long word if a short one will do. Even you can cut the word. Never use passive. This is the most important thing. Many of the research proposals, they are written in passive voice. Please, grammarly, you have to keep this in mind. They should be only active grammar, not passive. Never use a foreign phrase, a scientific word, or a jargon, or anything which you use every day, and you think that you can write that in the proposals also, which is English equivalent. Please do not use such jargons. That jargons are okay when you talk in English to someone or in your day-to-day English, but not for writing a research proposal and to be included in a research proposal. Next, please. So these are the some 6 S of scientific writing. It should be simple, short, structured, sequential, strong, and specific. If you follow all this simple S, your research proposal is going to come out very well. You should be able to, if somebody says that you have to write 100 pages, you can do so. But if somebody tells you that write a summary of those 100 pages in just 2 pages, it is difficult. And if you have that art that you can convert those 100 pages into 2 pages of document, then your scientific writing is very, 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 very much good, because you know exactly what all points I have to include to make in that 2-page document, which is only relevant and which will give a gist, a summary of everything. So it is not that when you write 100 pages of proposal and then submit to us, that is why, we have a word limit. When you submit our application, you will see that the title has some word limit. The abstract has some word limit. The introduction has some word limit. That is because of this, because if we don't give you that word limit, you will keep on writing. And many of the points is not relevant and not required at all. That is why if we have written that the abstract should be written in 200 words, then you just try to write it in 200 words. You need to write your study participants, your objectives, aims, the gap, the results, and the outcome in 200 words. Don't include any other thing. So that is the main rule, Orwell rules, that you want to follow if you want to write a very good research proposal, or even when you are publishing an article, research article. This will also follow up there also. Next, please. So thank you, everyone. And I hope that somehow today's session was beneficial for you. And I would like to conclude with, Marcus Fabius is one of the famous Roman educator, and he was a very good writer. So he says that do not write so that you can be understood, but so that you cannot be misunderstood. So if your research proposal, the reviewers are misunderstanding for something else, it will not go through. So you have to be write so clearly that the reviewers understands that what do you want to do actually. They do not have ifs and buts or questions on, no, this is not included. How will they do this? This is not appropriate. So please focus on all these rules. And I think that all of you can improve your writing research proposals. And there are many courses apart from the National Institute of Epidemiology. There are many other which are offering many other courses. So you can go for those courses also and improve your understanding for the research methodology and writing the proposal and writing the grant and writing research articles and publications. Because, this was something we told you in very much brief. This is a very detailed thing which we can even go on. So this 2 hours is not enough. But for you to just give an idea, we just compiled it somehow in a summary way, so that it is okay for you to understand that, because now the call is open. So what all points you need to keep in mind when you are submitting a research proposal to us, so that your research proposal does not face all those negative points. So thank you everyone for being here and listening. So if any one of you has questions, they can raise the hand or you can write in the chat box. Chat box में भी देख लो. Sonika Verma. Sonika Verma, are you there? You have raised your hand.
Please unmute.
Yeah, you are audible. Please say.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. I'm Sonika. And basically, I was working in Ministry of Health, FSSAI, till last year. And however, I have an intention to work in the field of public health. So I have also submitted a proposal to ICMR for doing some research in related to AI intervention in healthcare. So I just wanted to check if there are some opportunities because I am from a non-medical background. My master's is in microbiology, and I was, of course, involved in some sort of research in BARC Mumbai. And however, of late, I do not have any much of research in the last 10 years because at FSSI, I was not involved in research work. So, is there any grant or something fellowship for me in this under these schemes?
Are you working currently?
No, I am working with a startup. They are into AI in healthcare.
Okay, so if there is a scheme for unemployed people because a career break is required, that is the Women Scientist program, but you has told that you are already working, so that won't be applicable to you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
So,
sort of a freelancing. I'm not associated with any company or entity as
already.
such.
Madam,
Yeah,
if you're not being compensated there for your work, you're not getting any remuneration, or you're not
yeah,
gainfully employed there, then you can
yeah,
apply.
Are you
yeah.
getting
Sure, I'm not
monthly
getting.
remuneration?
No, I'm not getting anything. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Just
then you can
because
apply.
I was trying for PhD from USA, but this year it didn't work out. So I'm just carrying forward with the work in collaboration with ICMR also for a short-term project. So that's how I just wanted to check
Ma'am,
if there are any possibilities.
How
actually,
much career break do you have?
I left FSSAI in August 2025.
ma'am, actually, at least 1 year of career break is required for that Women Scientist Fellowship. And
Okay.
besides that, there are
Hmm.
two categories in that fellowship. Category A is for
Hmm.
postgraduate people, sorry, who are having their doctoral degree, who have
Okay.
PhD.
Mm-hmm.
And category B is for those women who are enrolled in PhD. And as you told now, you're planning to get enrolled in somewhere.
Yeah, I was trying for USA. So, but I'm okay for short term research also because basically I have to work in the field of healthcare itself, public health and healthcare. So, but I just wanted to check for opportunities if there are any in these under these schemes. That's perfectly fine. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Prithviraj.
Good evening, ma'am. So my question is that what is the word limit for STS project and PG thesis support in DHR to
The word
submit the
limit is
proposal?
already mentioned when you open the application portal and you submit your proposal. So
Okay.
every section, the word limit is mentioned in the guidelines. So you can just go through that when you start submitting your application.
And my another question is, can Master of Science students apply for the PG thesis support?
No, it is only for medical PG thesis.
No, we offer medical PG, but in Master of Science as well as MD course,
No,
we
no, it
offer
is only
admission.
MD, DM, MCH, MS, DNB,
Okay,
DRNB.
okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Dr.
Ma'am, I'm
Sakshi.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, my thesis work is on animal as preclinical as well as clinical. That is, I'm formulating a gel. So, while applying for grant, what title should I mention? I have IEC as well and IAEC as well. So, for
What?
title, what should we mention?
No, can you just repeat title where we are not able to get it?
Ma'am, my thesis topic is preclinical as well as clinical human trials.
Yes.
So, I have certificates of both IAEC and IEC.
So that is
while
irrespective of what title you will decide. You just saw a webinar on how we told you to write a title. Getting the approvals does not decide how you write a title, Dr. Sakshi. Your
no, ma'am,
title
actually,
depends on your background, rationale, your research question, hypothesis, what you're proposing, and then you design a title for your study. It is not based on your ethics or regulatory approval.
ma'am,
That is anyhow mandatory.
is it not mandatory that it should match IEC and or IEC certificates?
No, that is required. Ethics and regulatory approvals are mandatory for research to be done. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So for
we
applying for,
don't want that you write in the title that yes, ethics approval has been done. Your
No,
title
ma'am.
is solely based on your research work.
No, ma'am. My question was that it should it match the title which is mentioned in IEC approval, or it can be different.
Ethics का title जब ethics approval लेते तो बोल दो ना.
That should be same actually.
Yes, it should be.
Same.
It should be same.
Okay, ma'am.
And if
So
there are some major deviations, so you can inform your ethics committee first. Take the approval
Yes.
from the ethics committee.
Because what you are proposing to the funding agency, उसके लिए ही तो आप ethics apply करोगे ना.
मैम IEC में
फंडिंग
मेरा
एजेंसी को कुछ और दोगे और एथिक्स के लिए कुछ और अप्लाई करोगे, ऐसे तो नहीं होगा ना.
नहीं मैम, एक्चुअली आई सेम है, दोनों भी सेम है, पर आईसी में ऐसे लिखा है क्लिनिकल ट्रायल और आईएईसी में लिखा है प्री क्लिनिकल ट्रायल, तो फिर टाइटल
क्यों,
कौन सा
तो
आएगा?
आपने क्यों लिखा है ऐसा? आपने
सर-
जो फंडिंग एजेंसी को दिया वही एथिक्स को देना चाहिए था, या जो एथिक्स को दिया वही फंडिंग एजेंसी को सबमिट करना चाहिए था.
मैम एथिक्स दोनों अलग अलग है ना, ह्यूमन ट्रायल और एनिमल ट्रायल दोनों अलग है ना, तो दोनों के टाइटल अकॉर्डिंगली चेंज
Madam,
हो.
what I understood, actually your study has two different things. In the first part, you will your study will be preclinical study.
हाँ.
Another is the
Yes.
clinical. It
So
will be
either
very
in
big
that
study.
she has not mentioned the other objective, no, that is why.
It will be very.
Where have you mentioned pre-clinical to the funding agency?
No ma'am, not it. I have not it applied, but I was asking, so what title should be there? Like
Oh, that is
IEC.
why we are asking this, that are you planning to propose different objectives to ethics and different objectives to funding agency?
No, ma'am. Same objectives. Just the title difference is there. No, like preclinical in IEC approval, it will be on animals, and IEC on humans. So my study is in two phases: animal as well as humans. So what should be the exactly title? Whether it should match
दोनों में
IEC.
AC में किया है, HSC में भी किया है.
You can inform to your animal ethics committee and human ethics committee that I have to submit that this proposal.
She wants to know what should be in the title. तो टाइटल में आप दोनों इंक्लूड करिए, और दोनों वो, क्योंकि स्टडी तो आपका एक ही है ना, उसमें दो पार्ट हैं, एक आपको प्री क्लिनिकल करना है, एक क्लिनिकल करना है. तो टाइटल में अगर ये चीज आ जाती है कि मुझे इन विट्रो करना है एंड क्लिनिकल करना है, कुछ ऐसा आ जाता है टाइटल में, सो फॉर सो गुड. एथिक्स में भी वही जाएगा और जहां प्रपोजल अप्लाई कर रहे हैं वहां भी वही जाएगा.
सर, तो मैं टाइटल कंबाइन करके डाल सकती हूँ दोनों.
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी कि वो मैच करना चाहिए, लाइक है ना.
नहीं मैच तो होना
चाहिए आपका, सिर्फ दोनों वर्ड्स इधर इंक्लूड हो रहे हैं.
हाँ, दोनों भी उधर इंक्लूड कर दूंगी टाइटल में मैं.
टाइटल में भी इंक्लूड कर दीजिए.
ओके, दोनों सर्टिफिकेट के टाइटल्स इंक्लूड कर लूंगी फिर.
हाँ.
ओके. थैंक यू.
दोनों टाइटल इज सेम.
कंबाइन करके ethics को बताना पड़ेगा.
डॉक्टर अभिषेक, डॉक्टर
Yeah.
तानिया,
Hello.
या डॉक्टर अभिषेक.
Yeah. First, I would like to thanks to DHR to give this very much informative session to us. So I am very much eager to apply for the grant. So one question is related to the Women Scientist Fellowship, which is currently released by the DHR for the 26-27. So I just want to know that whether the PhD student can apply for this grant or not.
Yes, sir. PhD student can apply, sir.
Because one
If they're
thing I
not
just-
getting any fellowship from anywhere, then only.
So in my college, there is two type of PhD scholars is there. One is related to the NMC, that is medical, and another one is the related to the university only.
Yes.
So whether both can apply non-medical, medical, or
Yes,
only
yes,
medical?
both can apply.
Okay. And second question is that related to the startup grant for induction in biomedical and health research. So I just want to know that what kind of grant is only startup grant we can apply, or translational research we can apply for this grant session?
Actually, researchers are encouraged to apply for the translation research. That has more value in research. And anybody who is a regular faculty with 3 years of experience in research or teaching, and they must have done their PhD within 5 years, only they can apply in the startup grant.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the informative session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Abhishek.
Dr. Tania?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, ma'am, I am Dr. Tania Shah, working as DHR women scientist in BRIC in NIBMG. My institute is situated at Kalyani, Nodia, West Bengal. In the first installment, I have got only 10% HRA, whereas my institute is eligible for 30% HRA. So, ma'am, can you please tell me how can I apply for the increased amount?
Yes, it was informed. It was informed already through email and through telephonic conversation. Also, this is not the right platform to ask your individual query.
Yeah, this is related only to the proposal submission as of now. For your other queries, any of your ongoing projects, please write separately. We don't have that much of time. We are already overshooting the time.
But, ma'am, I am not.
Anyway, I would like to reply here also. No problem. So, Dr. Tania, you need to submit to Department of Expenditures OM regarding that HRA. Okay, if your city or your station lies in category X, then only 30% HRA is admissible there. And if it's lying in the 30X category, then you can intimate DHR and will pay the arrear in the next grant.
Is it clear, Dr. Tania?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Dr. Manisha?
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for such an informative webinar. I am actually a doctor and was a clinical in past. I'm recently in my 3rd year of fellowship program with IHMR and researching on type 2 diabetes. I have a gap for this fellowship program. So can I apply for the grant in that women division? So I'm not working. Hello.
What, how long career break do you have, ma'am?
So it is going to be 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can then apply.
So I was working with Fortis as an medical administration, and then in 2023, I left in March. And since March 2023, I have not resumed work at any other offices. Like I'm not on payroll anywhere.
Ma'am, actually, if you're fulfilling all the other criteria like age limit and career gap, and if you have done your PhD already or you're pursuing your PhD, you can apply in women scientist.
Yeah, you'll have to go through the eligibility criteria and the given in the guidelines. If you fulfill all the other than this career gap, if you fulfill the other required mandatory eligibility criteria, you can apply.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Kumar?
Ma'am, some students approached me for the fellowship program. I have 2 queries. In case one, the candidate completed DBT fellowship program 2017 to 20. So now they have a career break. They are eligible to women scientist. It is okay. Now career break. Another candidate is utilized young scientist program with DHR. So that is the young scientist program. Will she apply for women scientist scheme now? So previously young scientist scheme is there, now it is not there, but women scientist scheme is continuing.
So
But she
had
avoided
the young scientist. Had she completed successfully the young scientist project?
Yes, she completed young scientist in previous institute.
Okay. And
but whether she eligible for women scientist, she had career break.
Yes, she's eligible. But let me tell you
Because
one thing. Let me tell you one thing. As per the guideline, Actually, the previous project and performance in that outcome of the previous project is also taken care and seen if a fellow is applying second time in the DHR.
Yeah, because the funding agency is same, DHR. Previously young scientist, now to be women scientist.
So previous project will also be seen this time.
Plus, you can go through the guidelines. In the guidelines, everything is clearly mentioned.
Yes,
What
madam.
is the eligibility
Yes,
criteria?
madam. I went through the
What is the
guidelines.
requirement?
Yes, I went through. Yes, madam. Other guidelines I went, but I have doubt that a young scientist to women scientist again. Is it okay with DHR? That's
That Dr. Sohail has already answered.
okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Hello.
Dr. Yatharth.
So they will call. Okay.
Dr. Yatharth Jain? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am. Does I am from management background? Does we can integrate it with a medical background and make it interdisciplinary and eligible for the grant? Then
No, management is not the eligibility criteria.
okay, ma'am.
We don't have any MBAs or in the eligibility criteria.
A PhD in management background marketing that we cannot make
No,
integrate.
MBA does not fall into the health research.
Okay, ma'am. And then my second question is when in which month the calls are open for the grant by HRD?
Call is already open currently. That is why we are doing this webinar.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome. Vidya Saraswati.
Good evening. I'll make it very brief. Can the recording be shared? Because we had some previous commitments, we missed a few sessions, part of the
No,
sessions.
ma'am, there is no provision of sharing the recording.
That's so sad. There's such wonderful
Ma'am,
sessions, and I wish,
on the YouTube,
you
it
know.
was being live streamed, so you can watch it over there after this.
Oh, okay. So can the
On the
YouTube,
ICMR
where
channel.
can we access it?
It's there on the
Which one?
ICMR channel. If you visit the ICMR YouTube channel, it was
Okay.
being live streamed.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm from Manipal.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vineet Vinay.
Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible,
please.
ma'am?
Yes.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation to the entire committee. My query is, I'm a PhD working professional part-time PhD scholar from Manipal, MCOTS, dentistry. So am I eligible for PhD, any kind of a grant for PhD?
You're already
Part-time.
doing a PhD, so I don't think there's no grant. You're already doing, no? Even once you complete, then you can apply in any of the programs.
Okay, so we don't have a specific for PhD scholars.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Let me add one thing.
Yes,
For
sir.
PhD scholars, there is a scholarship that is JRF.
Okay.
No, but he's already doing, no? He's doing the PhD.
But they can avail JRF later on also, even after getting enrolled in PhD.
So
like
you are having this PhD with fellowship, or what it is like?
No, it's a pure PhD. It's a part-time PhD. I'm a working professional in an institute and doing a part-time PhD scholarship from Manipal. I'm called Manipal, Mahe.
Part-time
part-time
PhD is not given.
There is no such.
Okay, thank you so much.
Priya Bharadwaj.
Good evening, everybody. Ma'am, presently I'm working as a women scientist in AIMS New Delhi. So, ma'am, basically, I just want to know, can I apply for short-term fellowship to learn a technique? Because that technique I want to include in my currently ongoing project. I'm in second year of my women scientist fellowship.
Dr. Priya, actually, that component is specifically for regular people, means who are working in institutions in a regular position.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Zydus Medical College and Hospital.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
I'm Dr. Vijay Babu. My query is, there are a lot of students coming up for STS project, undergraduate students, and we have only 10 staffs per subject, 10 to 12 staffs as per the NMC guidelines. And we also have postgraduates who are working as tutor come postgraduates. Can a tutor guide a STS project?
No, sir. It has to be a regular faculty. It cannot be even senior residents.
Senior residents also not
No.
not. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that.
Welcome, sir. Dr. Sandeep Singh?
But SR is a regular faculty, no, ma'am?
No, sir.
SR is a regular faculty. Only JRs are not regular.
No, but senior residents are not eligible to guide STS students.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot for the clarity.
Yes, sir. Dr. Sandeep Singh?
Hello. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful presentation. I have a couple of queries. First of all, I'd like to know regarding startup grant. So, is it there strict eligibility criteria for after completion of 5 year only people can apply? If the person can cross the 6th year or 7 year, then one can apply or not?
Sir, they must have. Yeah, there is a strict actually guideline and criteria. They must have done their PhD within 5 years.
Should be
Last
within
5
5
years.
years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And second query is, if someone is doing a PhD and the person is the lady is from the engineering background, but doing PhD in the metamaterials related to the healthcare devices. So, is she applicable? Is she eligible for this women's and
Engineering in biotechnology or what, sir?
What is the post graduation field? Neha, query के बीच में मत करो. Sir, Dr. Sandeep?
Hello,
Yeah, what is the qualification?
She did post graduation in EC, electronic and communication, and currently she is doing PhD in metamaterials related to medical devices.
No. Electronics and communication is not eligible qualification.
Okay.
Sekhar
Thank you.
Jagarappu?
Hello. Thank you very much for the informative presentation, madam.
Thank you.
And to every committee people. So I have a query. I am going to apply for a research NRI research support program, and I have a question on proposal. So do I need to include alternative and expected results in discussion, or do I need to write separate?
What? Sir, can you repeat?
Yes, I have a question on writing proposal for the DHR support to DHR NRI research support program.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, do I need to include alternatives and expected results in discussion session or in a different section?
No, only expected outcome is required when submitting a proposal. Your results and everything will come later, no, if it is selected and you do the
No.
research.
Yeah, if I have a preliminary results, do I need to include in a
You can
different
obviously give
section?
them as a context, as a reference, as
Okay.
a evidence that there is already a proof of concept, and based on that you are going to proceed further. Some preliminary results or preliminary data has been already there available. Like that
Okay.
you can
What about
write.
what about alternatives?
Alternatives in the sense?
Alternative for like if I propose something experiments to get the expected results as my hypothesis, like a plan B.
Yes, you can, because always you should have a mitigation plan. Because what if this doesn't work out, then you should have some mitigation plan to take it the other way. So that you can do it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome, sir. Iman Ehsan.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good afternoon, all. Yeah, thank you for so much of time you all have given. So I have a question. I was asking about this short-term international fellowship, right? So in that it is given like, you know, you are like, you can avail 3,000 USD. So that is fixed if I go to any country. One question is that. And the second question is that as we all are in like, I'm an associate professor. So am I eligible to draw the salary also at the same time? Can you just please clear that?
Yes, ma'am.
Fixed,
First thing,
3,000 is fixed. no?
stipend is fixed $3,000, be it any
Okay.
country. And the
Right.
second thing, as per the guideline, your salary and remuneration will also be continued.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Dr. Gurleen Kaur.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, can this DHR grant be applied in parallel to our institutional grant for MDS thesis?
Yes, yes, yes.
Can both go for parallel?
Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Shri Kritika.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, can Ayush professionals apply for these schemes in HRD, ma'am?
What is the qualification?
Bachelor's in Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences, BNYS, ma'am. Postgraduates and undergraduates.
No, bachelors are not eligible, no? Bachelors
No,
तो
ma'am,
सिर्फ undergraduate तो सिर्फ STSE program है.
No, ma'am, those
Bachelors
who
are
are
not
pursuing-
eligible in any other program. For bachelors, there is only one STS program. नहीं.
No, ma'am, Masters in Ayush courses, ma'am. MD professionals.
MD is Ayush का है.
इनका कोर्स MD नहीं है.
He's saying MD in Ayush.
If you're having MD degree, then it will be considered.
Okay, sir.
Ayush
Those who are
that-
pursuing-
You can write to us. We'll get back to you on that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Guidelines are there.
VRDL Osmania.
Ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Osmania.
Yes, actually, we are working as scientists in the VRDL lab. Can we apply for the short-term fellowship courses for abroad or in India?
You are a regular faculty?
We are contract employees working as scientists.
No, it is only for regular employees.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Srinivasa Rao.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I have a small query. Can allied health professionals can apply for the startup grant?
Startup में allied.
Allied health professionals.
Which degree do you have, sir?
I have master's in sports physiotherapy and followed by a PhD in sports science and medicine.
Okay. Sports medicine तो is है.
If it is in sports medicine, then you can apply.
My PhD is in sports science and medicine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you have a PhD in sports medicine, then you can.
And if you're working in a regular position.
Yes, I am.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Dr.
Sorry for
Kalpana.
interruption. Sorry for interruption. I can't because of technical glitches. I can't raise my hand, so I can wait till. Just please call my
Please
name.
ask question.
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay, we'll take you after the hands raised are finished. Okay. Dr. Kalpana.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I am Dr. Kalpana. I have finished PhD in CMC in 2016. Then I finished ICMR RA fellowship. At present, I have a proposal for DHR. My mentor is in Christian Medical College, Vellore. So can I apply for ICMR DHR Women Scientist, ma'am? I have a break also, like a 3 years break.
Currently, you're not working anywhere.
Currently, I'm not. I'm working in home as a freelancer. At present, I'm not working anywhere.
Unemployed है ना career break के साथ. So along with career break, it has to be unemployed, but you're working.
No, I'm not working, ma'am. I'm not working in any institute.
Okay, then you can apply. You can go through the other eligibility criteria and guidelines.
Ma'am, are you enrolled in PhD already?
I already finished, ma'am. Already finished PhD with postdoc. PhD.
Okay.
So then they can.
Then you can apply, no problem.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Vineet Verma. So, Vineet Verma, are you there? Dr. Jyoti Batra. Ma'am, you're not audible. We cannot hear you. No, we are not able to hear you. No, unmute. Can you check your audio? We'll get back to you.
Audio is fine, ma'am. Audio is
Yes,
fine.
yes. Now you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. I just want, I am doing research at Santosh University, Hyderabad. I was just asking one question. There is one first presentation. There was some mention about MBBS, BDS applying for the PhD. Is there any clarification on that? Like after doing MBBS, BDS, they can they are eligible to apply for PhD program?
No, that program is currently not yet started, ma'am. That will be started most probably by the next year in only NMC recognized colleges.
Yeah. That's we are NMC recognized college. But
Yeah, so that will be started most probably next year, not this year for MBBS. Who have passed MBBS and they will be pursuing MD PhD integrated course.
Integrated only. Not
yes, it will be an integrated degree.
Oh, one little more query. We have thought, I'm not having any sources to say that the 75% marks if they are getting, they can apply for PhD. That is what, is this a rumor or is this a correct information?
No, though whatever will be the guidelines, it will be notified by DHR. There is no such criteria has been finalized as of now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Ashwini Mishra.
Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes.
First of all, ma'am, thank you very much for going for this online connectivity with such a big platform, and we all are kind of blessed to have direct connection with you. Ma'am, I have a question that we use 3D printing technology for the development of prosthetics. So if it is a project based on the guiding channel for the insertion of intradermal, intravenous, and probably vaginal delivery system, for these kind of thing, may we get the grant?
Yeah, it comes under health research, clinical research. You can apply.
And basically, we come under pharmaceutical sciences, though we are doing a collaborative work with the Department of Engineering in the university. So it will be a collaborative work. So can we go for collaborative mode of
Pharma is eligible, no? Pharma and PhD is already eligible in many of the programs.
Okay.
Pharma is eligible, it's no issue.
Oh, thank you very much.
Jayapriya.
Ma'am, for ICMR STS, I'm a pharmacologist. Can I guide on topics on medicine or OG? Is it has to be aligned with pharmacology alone, or clinical subjects am I permitted to guide, ma'am?
Yeah, but if you are from the pharmacology, then how will you able to guide a clinical subject? Will you
It's
be
a
able
prevalence study and
and you are a regular faculty?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can then.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Shagana.
Madam, good evening. I am Dr. Anna. I did my MBBS and MD biochemistry.
Yes.
I would like to do PhD for at the institute, but they require fellowships as the mandatory eligibility criteria to join PhD in any of the government.
Which institute are you in?
I'm currently in working in a government's state government medical college.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What is the name?
Tanjore Medical College. Government Tanjore Medical College. It's Tamil Nadu.
Okay, so yes, for PhD, fellowship is required, but under the DHR faculty PhD program, you have to be a regular faculty. But if you are not a regular faculty, then
Yes,
for
I am.
PhD, yes, You are a regular faculty?
Yes.
So under that, your college either has to be in the NRF ranking of top 50, or it has to be an institute of national importance. So anyhow, you rule out the latter one. You are not an institute of national importance. You are a medical college. And if you fall under the NRF ranking, then your institute has to approach DHR.
Okay.
So MOA only we proceed for this faculty PhD program. So if your medical college is a NMC recognized medical college and comes under the
Yes.
NIRF ranking of top 50 medical institutions, then
Okay.
your institute highest authority and dean research or whatever, the institute has to express an interest to DHR for this program. Then we sign an MOA for this.
Okay. May I get more details on this? Whom should I
You will
contact?
first have to search if you fall under NIRF ranking top 50. If you do not come under NRF ranking top 50, then you cannot.
Okay, then I should not get, I will not get any fellowships and I will
For
not
that,
be
then you will
eligible.
have to apply for JRF. But you're already a regular faculty applying for a JRF. There is an age limit in JRF. So I don't know that whether you'll be fulfilling the age quality because DHR has this breadth program. So you will have
Okay.
to qualify if you are age.
For regular faculties, no stipend is given.
But industry sponsors सब होता है ना उसमें फिर आगे 3 categories है ना एक्सेल. But fellowship तो लेनी ही पड़ेगी ना. छोड़ना
मिलेगा stipend नहीं मिलेगी.
You cannot until and unless there is some other program for coming for faculty PhD.
Okay. Okay.
Abhishek Kashyap.
Can I do studies in collaboration with the other institutes?
Yes, yes. Multicentric studies are always in the field of health research. You can do.
Okay. Okay.
Abhishek Kashyap.
Hello. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, firstly, just wanted to tell, like, I am not belonging to a very strong research background. I'm not looking for fellowships or not, but we have an NGO which is a think tank, and we focus on public health aspects. And I just wanted to have some clarification or maybe and guidance that how public health, those organizations, NGOs which are focused on public health, how we can get involved with DHR and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. What are if there is any area to register an NGO as maybe a research identity or something? And then how another question is that how do we approach the right stakeholders for a particular project? For example, we are working on HPV awareness, and and we mainly do quantitative and cross-sectional studies. And our main strength is our medical students, that we have a huge set of medical students, more than 12,000 students are part in different colleges. So we want to understand that how we can utilize that workforce into with relevant studies which can really impact the policies and guide the governments on which direction they should work with the ground aspect.
Yeah, Abhishek. So this platform is not for this appropriate for this session, but yes, as an NGO, you can apply under the workshop funding support if you want to conduct workshops in the field of health research, whether it's a clinical training or any translational research. So we fund workshops and NGOs are eligible to apply in that workshop funding support program. It's a rolling basis program, which is done monthly. So you can go through that in the HRD guidelines and then can conduct workshops in which you can train human resources in any of the specific areas, niche areas as per the health research mandate.
DSIR certificate is mandatory. DSIR certificate.
Workshop minimum.
Okay. You can also apply in
NGOs are eligible. So
you can also apply in support to institution program, but for that, DSIR certificate is mandatory for any NGO or private institution.
you can apply for DSR certificate. If you get it, then you can apply. You can apply for DSR certificate if they give you. Yeah, so we'll be taking only 3 more questions for which hands are raised. After that, we are not going to take any questions because of the paucity of time. So Ravi Harshdeep, can you please quickly tell your question and query?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much to all of you, to all the respected scientists present over there for conducting such wonderful webinars, which are very informative for all of us. And secondly, I would like to thank that I have been sanctioned with 2 of the grants by DHR ICMR. One was as a young scientist. And
Do you have any question?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I want to apply for short-term and long-term abroad program. And while going through the guidelines, so I read there are 2 clauses mentioned in that. So one clause is mentioned that when one applies from a private institute, the host institute, they will continue to pay the salary to the candidate along with the stipend which we will get in case we get this fellowship. So, and then second is, ma'am, that we have to sign a bond for 3 years that once the candidate comes back, then he or she has to serve that host institute, right, ma'am? And ma'am, so in private institutes, what I feel is that all these 2 clauses, they are not that much relevant, since one, when he or she gets the government job, he or she will definitely move. And the private institute also, they are not willing to pay the salary at the same time. So ma'am, is there any provision or suggestion from your side that how these clauses can be tackled?
As of now, this is the stated guideline. If your institute is not following it, then we cannot say anything. We cannot interfere in that.
Yeah.
Because we have our own set of guidelines, and that the institute, all private institutes also have to follow. If they are not following, then it is their purview and we will have to discuss with them only. We cannot comment on that. Okay?
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Shweta?
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am a PhD nurse working in a private college. So my question is, ma'am, can I apply for the grant that is the startup grant?
Startup.
I'm from the nursing background.
Regular faculty?
PhD. Yes. PhD. I'm a regular faculty.
So then you can apply. No?
Yes, you can apply if you had done your PhD within last 5 years.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mamta. And after Mamta, we are taking Dr. Ellie Joita, and we are wrapping up. We are sorry, we already told that we are taking only 3 questions. You can just please write to us. We will reply. So Mamta and that Dr. Ellie Joita.
Good evening, madam. Thank you so much. Madam, I am faculty from the community medicine department. I just want to know whether the STS program in collaboration with neurology department can be done by me. A qualitative study was planned and it was already submitted to the STS as a student for the student, but it was not selected. So whether we should conduct such type of studies in collaboration with the other departments like neurology or the cardiology department as a community medicine faculty.
No, you can conduct, but who was the applicant? The student under you?
Yes, student was under. I was a guide, and the student was as a STS candidate, and we have actually included in the in the institute. The faculties from the neurology department were also the co-investigators, but I was the main
STS
guide.
does not recognize any co-guides and all.
Yes,
STS recognizes only the main guide.
Right.
Okay, and there is no issue with any interdepartmental thing. The proposal
Yes.
also has to have value. If the proposal
Okay,
does
right.
not go through the expert review, then you will not be selected.
Yes, but we can apply.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Eloijita.
Dr. Rawat, your question was that you are a first year MBBS student and you want to do research. That's fine. Huh?
No, sir. Actually, my thing is, I have a certain questions regarding PhD medical program, sir. There it is written that institutions should have collaboration with the DHR or ICMR collaborating centers. Is it mandate?
Yes, that is what I told you in one of the questions also. I told we only do it with the institutes which are either NRF top ranking 50 or you are in institute of national importance.
But
As of
again,
now, this is the only provision.
Okay, ma'am. But again, if the institution is already in process of that, so should we are able to submit the documents within a stipulated time period until 30th May? Is that
No,
something?
that call is not open. The programs for which call is open are clearly mentioned in the notification.
Yeah, ma'am. That's what. Even PhD medical program has not been open in the
No,
online.
because it is not a direct call.
Okay, ma'am. How then we have to go for it, ma'am?
I told you, no, if you are a institution under top NRF medical institution ranking, You have to
Okay.
check whether your institution is under that top NIRF 50 ranking, or
Okay.
you are an institute of national importance. So
Okay, ma'am.
which college are you from?
Ma'am, I am from Mallareddy Vishwavidyapeeth, ma'am.
So that is not an
Okay.
INI. So that thing goes off. Now you have to check whether Mallareddy is under top NIRF ranking 50
Okay.
of the
Okay.
medical institution category.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Then
So,
only you have to send us an EOI.
So
It's
that
not
means
direct open for all.
okay. So thesis support and the medical PhD program, they are two different.
Thesis, yes, they both are different. Only thesis support is open.
And regarding the SCS, ma'am, that ethical clearance is mandate, or later
Yes,
we can submit.
yes, after taking ethical clearance, you can start the work. But if in any case you are not able to take the ethical clearance at the time of submission of application, you can give undertaking that after 3 months or 4 months you will be able to submit it. So at the time of in between, before the submission of the interim report or at the time of submission of the interim report, you can submit it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And it's a very good
So
initiative.
thank you everyone. We are logging off, and if you have any queries, then please do write to us. We'll be happy to answer that. Thank you for joining.
मैंने कहा 2 क्वेश्चन जो बचे हैं वो ले लें, सिर्फ 2 जो बचे हैं ले लो डब्ल्यू ले लो
हमने कर दिया
डॉक्टर कल नहीं बात कर
हाँ, मैं तो टाइप करने रखती हूँ। जब बात कर रहे हैं तो मत करो।
डॉक्टर कल्पना पवार प्लीज not audible.
Your voice.
You are not audible. Yes, please.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir, I already availed one fellowship from DHR, that was Women Scientist Scheme, in 2020. So, can I avail any other fellowship now?
Fellowship. When did you complete that fellowship, madam?
Sir, it was 2020 to 2023, 3-year fellowship.
So
Women Scientist Scheme.
your 10% grant has also been released?
Yes. Everything is done.
Everything is done.
So, am I eligible to apply for any other fellowship?
Depends. You can apply wherever she is eligible.
You are already a DHR fellow. Please go through the guidelines. If you find yourself suitable for any of the schemes, please apply.
Okay, if I find. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Abdullah Abbas.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, myself, Nishat Fatma. Sir, I want to apply for Women Fellowship, which I having a career break of maximum 5 years. So I'm presently I am pursuing PhD. It's my 2nd year, and I have a career gap of 4 years. So am I eligible to apply for that Women Fellowship?
Yes, you are eligible. So she is pursuing PhD. Category B. You are eligible for category B.
Already doing PhD.
Category B.
Must be getting some fellowship. Then what is the need of it?
Are you getting any fellowship?
No, sir. Presently, I'm not getting any fellowship.
Please, I would request go through the guidelines. I request everyone, please go through the guideline. If you have any query, you can write to us, reach out to us through the email. And for a specific your query, you are eligible for category B only.
Okay, sir.
So there is no raised hands. So we are wrapping up. Thank you so much for joining. We was having very interactive session with you all people. And we hope that in near future we can organize similar type of webinars for your help, and we are always ready to handhold you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining.